Gang. It is Monday, May 11th, 2020. And I thought I'd have some fun there and play a little music as an opener. Hope everybody is doing well. And, you know, I know there's a lot going on in the world. And for me, by coincidence, today there's two birthdays in my family. My dad and my niece share a birthday. So happy birthday to them. I know they're not watching, but that's okay. I can still tell them happy birthday and go on from there. Now, tonight, you may have noticed, you may not have noticed, I don't know, but let me see which hand. Normally, there's a little symbol up here for StreamYard, right? And I've said it before, that StreamYard only gives me 20 hours a month to work with. And I apparently have used up that 20 hours, and they were supposed to renew it today, but they didn't. So I had to make a purchase and pay for this. Now, I don't know how long if I'm gonna continue to do that with StreamYard, because it's like a monthly thing, and they want to charge you $20 a month, and they want you to pay for a whole year all in one shot. But I don't know that I want to do that, or that I need to do that. So at this point, I have paid for, I guess, this month, or May 11th or to June 11th, whatever. So I'm going to experiment a little bit tonight. Hopefully I can figure out, hey, Andrew, hopefully I can figure out if I can add stuff to this or change things. I don't know, because again, I have not had much time to play with it. As I was prepping to get, hey, nobody, as I was prepping to get this, up and running tonight, I realized that I didn't have any StreamYard options left. So I had to kind of hurry up and get it scheduled or paid for so that I could do this tonight. And oh, there's a blob on my door over there. It's actually not sure how that's getting in here. Oh, sunlight coming through that window. There's a window behind me, so sunlight sneaking through there. Hey, Jorge, glad you're here. Anyway, so that's where it's at tonight. As I'm still going to do this, and it's open to the people joining the chat, and I will post, hey, Leonard, things are going good here. Hope all is well with you as well. But I will post my email, and you can send me an email, and I will send you a link to be on this broadcast. Last week we had I think we had 5 people get in and out of the broadcast, which was really cool. Hey, Jeff, it was really cool because we didn't, I know I can sit here and ramble on for a couple of hours, but it's nice to have those other people involved. And I know we had one of them. Yeah, thank you, Jeff. One of the first ones we had was Jesse, who is, I know he was trying to ask questions. He didn't know that he was going to be invited to be on the chat. So I know he was a little excited about that, but it was nice to have Jesse on here, and he was asking questions about his convertible Fairlane, and we got a ton of responses from viewers, and that was fantastic. So we also had a couple others on here. I think Andrew stepped in for a minute. I don't remember. I know we had the guy late on with the Camaro. Hey, Rick, with the Camaro problems. He's wanting a kind of evaluation on that. And then I'm trying to remember the other. We had the guy with the fastback, showing what he was doing. And I don't remember specific names, and I apologize for that. But I remember Jesse because we kept talking about it. And BK, that's Paul. Hey, Paul, glad you're here. Austin, Barry, your videos have been huge for my build. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Austin, for commenting. I appreciate that. It's been pretty interesting. You know, I've been trying to get stuff done on Jade, and man, hey, Robert, I was just very, very excited to have that epoxy on Jade. And, you know, there's still plenty more to do. I was working on it a little bit today. I'm not sure if I'm going to film everything that I'm doing because I want to get it into high build primer. And I'm just kind of trying to take care of, you know, like the welds I had on the door seam, you know, where I had to modify the quarter panel. I'm just trying to putty that up, get it smooth, a couple little places, you know, get that addressed. And then I'm gonna spray it with high build. You know, I think I have a 4-day window is what the can says. So maybe by tomorrow I can have high build on the car and be that much further ahead. I'm also doing some body work on that door patch that I did. So I'm filling that in, the little low area, and taking care of that. And, you know, so I'll get the high build on there and go from there. You know, I know that, you know, I took the hinges off the car and all that stuff to get the doors off. And I'm thinking I may, hey, James, the epoxy that I used on that car was the Summit brand epoxy. It's with their label. So DTM, what did it say on the can? Yeah, DTM epoxy primer. That's what I used. Seems to be a good product. You know, I don't know. I can't say. I'm no chemist by any means. And I can't say for sure if any epoxy is better than another epoxy. I know I had some guy comment that something about I should not have used that epoxy on the car, and I didn't understand what his reasoning was. But hey, Harvey, glad you're here. But anyway, he was like commenting that it was a bad idea to use that epoxy or something. I should have used a sealer, and I don't know. Says he painted cars. I went to SEMA and different things, and he probably has a lot of knowledge. And again, I'm not claiming to be the all-knowing painter, but my understanding is, you know, epoxy doesn't really care. You know, you're supposed to keep brands the same. You know, I understand that, but I don't know that once the epoxy is dry, that it's really going to make a difference. You know, when you add something on top of it. I don't understand. Maybe somebody else has some insight onto that. That'd be great, but that's my understanding anyway. So, Rick, perhaps let's see. Yeah, that, you know, I could. That's a possibility. I've already started putting some filler on it, and those time lapses are kind of fun. You know, they show a lot of stuff going on, and you get a lot of information really fast, basically. So I could change the rate for the time lapse, because there's two different ways that I use that little Osmo camera. One is a motion lapse, which it'll track wherever I tell it to in 4 different waypoints. And then the time lapse, I think it just speeds it up just a little bit. You know, like I was sanding on the sail panel, and that was a time lapse sequence when I did that. But you know, it's just kind of neat to use those. So maybe I don't know, might do something. I don't know yet. Hold on a minute. Somebody's buzzing me. Sorry. Let's see. Happy Monday, Mach 1s. Glad you're here. GM guy, that's John, right? John. I used that epoxy, no worries. 7 years ago, sealed my car. Just did an order, sandpaper, etc. filler. Cool. Hope you did it on Amazon. Got to do it on Amazon. If you let me know, I'll give you a bell if you did it on Amazon. Let's see. Harvey, we have the advantage of very long dry times. Yeah. Well, and that's why I want to get this on there before I get past that point. So if I could take care of these little areas that I want to address and get that, you know, and again, I'm using the 2K Shopline 2K high build. It's 2K primer surfacer, but like I said, it's going on top of epoxy. So I don't think there's any issues, but you know, the guy was very specific about use this, you know, keep brands together and whatever. He didn't like the way I was sanding, by the way, because when I was doing the sail panel, I was using my hand and I was explaining your hand will kind of conform to that shape. Well, he got into a little bit of a panic mode, I guess, because he's like, don't ever do that. Well, the thing is, when you're sanding that kind of radius, you don't just dig in with your hand. You gotta make some motion, you know, move it around a little bit to fill that gap. And even when you're doing it, you know, let's say the flat surface on the sail panel, you know, you don't just put your hand down in the center. I kind of use the whole part of my hand to make that so there's no ditch. Basically, you know, his thought was you would dig out material and have a drop down, you know, kind of area, make a hump. But I understand that. But I've been doing that for a long time, and I've never had an issue using my hand as a sanding block. So, let's see. Oh yeah, I don't know if I said, hey Jack, glad you're here. Did you check with your wife yet about me stopping in? And I'm not coming to I'm not wanting to stop and have lunch at your house or anything. I just want to film your car. Hey Michael, climb to glory, right of the line. Gotcha. Yeah, I want to film your car, Jack. Maybe go see Harvey and, you know, Guido, glad you're here. Let me see. Okay, so I've been in contact with a gentleman. I'm not sure what state he's in. I know he's older than me, and he's rebuilding a '65 Mustang, and he's been sending me, you know, questions and stuff on his phone, and I've been answering for him. And he has, you know, he's trying to make some videos. He wanted to do a live, you know, a viewer's project video, and he did a good job, but he filmed it vertical and very narrow. So, you know, I said, if you film any more, turn your phone so we get a full screen. So maybe I don't know if he wants to reshoot it or if he will shoot it again, or if I'm going to end up, you know, trying to edit what he gave me, but we'll see. Leonard, I use my hand when I sand, don't see any problems. Yeah. Well, and again, it's the idea that, I understand what he's saying, and he was very adamant about there's blocks for that and there's blocks for that. Well, yeah, there's blocks for everything, but these are the best tools I have, honestly. You know, I can sand and do a lot of things and feel the metal and know if I'm making a, you know, smooth transition. Not everybody can do that. I understand that, but you know, that's why I was using the paint stick and block sanding with that little stick, and then using the round DuraBlock and all that stuff, because it just, you know, showing different ways that you can do things is not harmful. It's just giving people ideas, and that's just how it is. So anyway, Robert, they're always wow, pedantic. Pedantic. I may have to look that one up. I'll just give you a bell for that. Whoops. I don't even know what pedantic means, but it has ick on the end of it, so it's got to be bad. All right, Bob here from cold Oklahoma, 55 today for a record low high. I'm guessing maybe a record high. I'm not sure on that one. One of the two. It's either high or low. Today in Georgia, it was 45, 46 degrees this morning when I got up, maybe a little warmer than that. And I've said it before, I try to run. I do exercise. And so this past week I ran 3 times last week, which was really good for me. and I'm trying to keep that up. So I ran today, and it was nice and cool. Fantastic weather for running. I mean, it was like 56 degrees when I went for my run, and felt great. I loved it. Let's see. If you use a block in one direction, you can have a groove as well. Yes, very true. And that's why I stress that when I'm block sanding, change directions. Multiple. I not just a crosshatch, but I just change multiple directions, and get the everything smoothed up, and let the block follow the car. The shape of the car and all that stuff. Pretty important to do that. Hey, Sean, glad you're here. Guido, if I put a lowering block 1 inch for left right to level off the top sidedness, while I have drivability issues after loosening everything, retightening everything, no change, still sits high. I can't see it really have drivability issues. And maybe a simple fix. At worst, you try it and see what happens. But I don't think it would affect your driving. The drivability. Yeah, give it a shot. Let us know how it works. Leonard Walters from Colorado Mountains. I like the time lapse you do. Sure do get a lot of work done. Yeah. Yeah. And because I guess I've had people, I've made videos that were 10, 15 minutes, and then I've made videos that were over an hour. And, at times I feel like I don't want to just bore people with, hey, this is me sanding with a block, and you can see the block working and change, smoothing out the filler, making the feather transitions as I talk about. And a time lapse just gives you a realistic overview of that, because you can see how much work is going into all that process. And I didn't even post. I had one or two other time lapse segments that I didn't even put in that video, because I was already an hour and change into the overall length, and I was like, man, I filmed a lot of stuff, and I just can't keep dumping stuff in here. I don't want it to be 2 hours for sure. Okay, so lowest high temp for this day. Okay, now I get it. I get it. Yep. Thank you for the thumbs up, Mark. Yep. Give it a shot, Guido. See what happens. I mean, it can't hurt. I'm sure it can't hurt. Let's see. Space Car Boy. Hello from Metro Detroit 68 Mustang. Space Car Boy. That's a new name. Haven't seen that one before. Glad you're here. Let's see. We've got Jorge. We had snow, Northwest New Jersey last Sunday. Yeah. My parents my parents and my in-laws live in Pennsylvania. And my in-laws, they said they couldn't see across the street. It was raining. It was snowing so hard, and such big flakes of snow. It was like a blizzard. They could not see their neighbor's house across the street, and they live pretty close to the neighbors. So that was pretty amazing to hear about snow that late in May. I think, if I remember correctly, when I was a kid, and I mean like 11, we did a field trip in school, and it was to like a museum of some sort. And I think it was towards the end of May, and I remember it snowed on that field trip. Not a heavy snow, just snow. And I remember that because it was just so weird to see that in May. But it happens. Big Shoots. Big Shoots. That's a new name. What is everyone's favorite chemical way to treat surface rust? Have some in the trunk of my car, on the tail panel, and in the lower parts of the quarters that need attention. Well, that's a good question. Depending on how bad it is, is it surface rust? Is it pitted? There's a lot of variables there. You may look at using some sort of sandblasting or media blasting to clean it all out, because if you have heavy pits, it's going to be hard to get it all out of there. The stuff I use, depending on, again, how heavy it is, and I pointed this out before. I don't even know. I'm assuming you can still get this stuff. I use this. It seems to work really well. 3X Chemistry. I think I got this at Summit Racing, and it it does a really nice job, but I don't know if it's still available or not. Another alternative is, well, let's see, I've got some SEM rust seal, and then I have some navel jelly, different things. But the important part is to get all those pits out. And, I don't know. I don't know how bad your rust is. So I'll say it again. If anybody wants to join the broadcast tonight, I paid the fee. If you want to jump in here and have some conversation, send me an email, joedaddysgarage@gmail.com, and we'll get it started. As it is, I have some coffee to drink. Let's see. I don't think the rust remover is available anywhere. Oh, I don't know. I've heard. I did some research last year and I found it, but it seems odd that they would stop. I mean, the company, I believe, is still in business. It seems odd they would, quit making it. I don't know. Leonard was fishing at Trapper's, I'm guessing Reservoir. I don't know. 4th of July 2 years ago, and it snowed. That's crazy. Of course, I don't know where that's at exactly. I don't remember. Phosphoric acid is what most products use. Very true. Very, very true. Loctite Extend Rust Neutralizer worked great for me. So there's another one you can look into. Sounds like that's a reasonable option. And let's see. KNS Rust Blast. Have not heard of that, but look that up. You can look it up, see what it does. Sorry, he says, wait, I take that back. Now he says KBS. Okay, KBS Rust Blast. So take a look at that. OSFO. I've heard of people using OSFO. I have not used that myself, but I've heard good things about it. So you may want to look into that as well. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. The only problem, Michael, is this cup says Fort Drum, New York. Yes, I know that's where they're based, but I was at Fort Benning, Georgia, for 3 years in the 10th Mountain Division. I want a cup that says Fort Benning, but they almost deny that we existed down there. It's really weird, but that's where we were for 3 years when we started. Okay, let's see. Grease Rookie, I just started using that as well, and that was the Loctite Extend Neutralizer. Okay, so Andrew at Grease Rookie, he says he's used it, he likes it, so give that a shot. Yeah, typo. Yep. Barry, if you're ever in the Phoenix area, I'd love to show you my build. Most of it was accomplished by following Jade. Well, that's cool. I'll give you a bell for that. That's good to hear. Earl, now that Jade is in primer, is she going back on hold? I don't know yet. I really don't know. Probably what's going to happen is I'll get it into the high build, and then I don't like to mess with the high build for a period of time, and that period of time is usually weeks. I like to let that stuff completely dry out. If it's going to shrink or anything, let it shrink. Don't mess with it. Then just let it dry. It might be a month before I want to block sand any of that. So I'll just let it sit. So it may do that. There's really not much. I mean, I still have to strip the doors on the inside painted areas. I want to strip those, get that cleaned up, and get that in primer as well. And then the other thing that I have to do, there's a little bit of body work that the left front fender. I fixed that left front fender. There was a little area that had a little filler up on the arch that I need to address. But the biggest thing I'm probably going to deal with at this point, or the next thing I should say, is the right front fender, because the fender that's came off of the car. It's really, really bad. I think it was hit on the right front, and then they just like shaped it all out of Bondo, because I've ground off a bunch of Bondo, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing, you know. So I have a friend of mine who has, I don't know if I could put pictures up here or not. Maybe if Nick gives me a message, I can get some information on how I can post a picture. It would be really cool to be able to, I think there's some way that I can put a picture up here now that I have this, now that I have this paid thing. I don't know how to do this. Let me go back to comments. Anyway, so my friend gave me 2 fenders off of his 68 Fastback that we had painted at the body shop years ago. And that car was campaigned. It's a drag car, and it was campaigned under the name Castrol. It had a Castrol on the side. It was pretty cool. But he's painted it back to Wimbledon white and has been putting it back together. So the 2 fenders that came off that car, I think they were Chinese fenders. But he said I could have them if I wanted. So I may check and see how well that right fender fits. If it works, I'll use it. If not, I'll find another one and go on from there. So, okay, yeah, Michael, you were at Drum, yeah. I was up there about a year ago. Had a reunion with some friends up there. First time I'd ever been up there. As of course, I was a civilian. I never went and on active duty. Leonard, Loctite still has spray rust sealer. Okay, so you can look into that. Yeah. Laser rust removal. You know, that's what I should do. I should contact one of those companies and say, let me endorse your product. Send me one of these and I'll use it and see if people, you know, want to buy it. But yep, you're welcome. It's good to have feedback from all the people on the live show. Let's see. Michael, do you use your MIG on the frame 110 or 220? On the frame, you're talking about on the Mustang? I use the MIG on everything on a Mustang, 110 or 120, whatever. And it handles all that because it's all basically either, you know, standard regular sheet metal or extra thick sheet metal. And the MIG, 120 volt, it'll handle it, no problem. So, Guido, is your state officially open back up for normal operations? Not really. There's places that are open, and there's still restaurants that are. They said they were told you can open up. They've chosen not to. There's some restaurants like Waffle House. They're now have section seating areas and stuff like that. I don't. You know, there's some places that want to open, and there's some places I guess that feel like they can't open yet. But they're getting more proactive, let's say, in getting to that point. So, so Big Shoots is asking video of your Mustang, Austin. He's asking Austin a question. 777 Smitty, small parts can be soaked in vinegar overnight. Does good on rust. Yeah, that is very true. And I think you can even put electrify it. You know, put a battery charger on there to give it some help. I think. I'm trying to remember the process. I've never done it. I've seen videos, but I don't remember. But I know there's ways you can add, what is it, electrolysis, and help it out with maybe it's just water. I don't remember. But I've seen it where you can add an electrical charge and it'll help it come off. There's videos out there on YouTube. Put it that way. Look it up. Just got finished painting my Y69. Now block sanding and buffing out. Would like to show pics, but I can't. Oh, well. I mean, you could join the live stream. You got a phone or something. You could join a live stream. Just send me an email, and I'll send you a link, and you can jump right in here and show us. 220 is always better if you have it, Michael. It actually takes less amperage. Well, yeah, you know, I mean, it's mine. I have a 120 welder, so that's what I use. 110, 120. You know, that's always confusing. You know it's 120 volts, but people still have, where did the 110 come from? You know, in a 220, because it's 120 and 240, correct? Anybody out there? I know there's an answer to that. I don't know why we say 110 and 220. I don't know, but you see it all the time. And I don't know what the what the difference is. You know, I believe it's supposed to be 120. Space Car Boy, my front fenders must be Chinese. Gapped front doors, not magic. Yeah, very likely. Very likely they don't. Yeah, they don't match. I feel your pain. I know exactly what you're talking about. So let me see if I can. Let me just see if I can do something here. I want to see if I can add something. So I don't know. I'm just going to experiment here for a minute. And I don't know how this works, but I want to try it, see what happens. So give me just 1 second. We're gonna just see what it does. If there's ways that I can put a picture up, let me see what this does. Let's see what happens. Did it do anything? I don't see it. Well, not showing it. It's supposed to be a background somewhere, but I don't see it. Unless, nope. I don't know. I'm just guessing here because I've not used this before. So go back to the comments. I saw something funny. Hold on a second. Yeah, Big Shoots. Not really. You can check out my Instagram for all my build. Yeah, there you go. At Arizona 68 Mustang. So go check out his build and have a look at it. Battery burnout 220, 221, whatever it takes. What was that movie again? Was it The Naked Gun? I think. Was that? I think is what it was. I think it's what it was, or was that Fletch? Maybe it was Fletch. Fletch Lives. Fletch. I don't remember specifically. 30 more days of lockdown. Sorry, Jorge. And I got an envelope in the mail today, so thank you. Let's see. Leonard, I called 3 this morning, talked with them about respirators and dust masks, and told me that they don't know when they will be available to the public. Yeah, I'm sure. Michael Law, it is 120 and 240. I mistype. You know, but it's not uncommon. That's what I'm saying. There's always, I even say it, 110, 220. I don't know how that comes about, but I say it, and I know I say it. Yeah. Oh yeah, Mr. Mom. Was it? It was. Yeah, that's right. It was Mr. Mom. I'll give you a bell for that. I was thinking Fletch. You know, very similar. AC is 110 to 120, so double it with each sine wave being 180 degrees out of phase gives you 220, 240. Yes, I agree with that. But why is it 110 to 120? Why, you know, if you read, if you look typically at something, a charging outlet or something, I don't even know anymore. Does it say 110, 120? I don't have anything near me to look at it. You know, does it actually say that somewhere? Because I think, like, here's a battery charger I have. What does it say? 120 volt AC. So it says 120 right there. So I don't know. I always get stumbled over with that, the 110, 120, whatever. But it's strange. A lot of us have that same kind of thought process, I guess. Robert, 208 on 3-phase. Yeah, just go step aside. We're not even going to talk about three-phase. Actually, I do know somebody who built a shop not far from here at his home, and he talked them into putting a three-phase power into his shop. And he doesn't have a business. I don't know how he managed to get that, but he's got a bunch of equipment he's putting in, machinery and different things. Yep. Mr. Mom. Yep. Mr. Mom. 777. I'm fighting the Fender. Oh, Fender. Yeah. Yeah. Fenders are just everything. You know, anything that's aftermarket is just going to be just a pain. Yeah. John and Michael Keaton. Maybe calculated line loss. Could be. I don't know. I just don't know where that came from. Okay, so fluke meter says 110 at my house. See? I understand. But we all just we always tend to stumble with it. And I was like, I say 110, I'm thinking, was that right? Or should I say 120? 220, 240. You know, I think 220. I think about the big Tombstone Lincoln welder that my dad had, you know, the big red one, and it was a 220 amp. So that's where my 220 comes from, but I know it was a 240 plug-in, you know. Anyway. Bob, all my shop equipment is three-phase. Well, good for you, man. That's pretty cool. We had three-phase at the body shop, but you know, whenever all that fell apart, let's say, you know, I probably could have gotten a hold of the compressor we had, but I couldn't have used it because it was like 120-gallon, big three-phase, you know, heavy duty. I couldn't have done anything with it, so I had to let it go. Yeah, it's all hard to fit, all that stuff. I mean, wait a minute. All right, so I have, hold on. Let me do this. Harvey is ready to get on and talk to us. So I'll send Harvey a link and we'll see how that goes. And I still don't know. There's got to be some way that I could add something. I mean, let me just see what, no, that's not what I want. Example, no. I don't know how to make this work. There's got to be some way that I can make this work. No, that's not it. See, it seems like I should be able to put in, I should be able to put pictures up here somehow, but I don't know how to do it. All right, so Brian, simple Ohm's law, things you won't notice much difference on sheet metal, but heavier gauge welding with 220 will make that spinning disc on your electric meter go a bit slower. It's current draw. Yes, very true. Matt, 17H2O. That's a new name. I don't know if I've seen that before. Have you been here before? Over the years, 120 volt supply was increased to 117, now 120 due to increased demand and reduced some voltage losses in wiring. Okay, I'll take that as a good answer. Speaking of which, speaking of voltage, there's a lot kind of catty corner to my property that somebody is building a house on or will be building a house on. They've been cutting down trees. It's about 3 acres, and they've cut down probably a couple hundred, if not 300 pine trees that were on that lot. Last week, they've done a lot of clearing, and there's still a lot of trees over there, and some big trees that need to come down. And we'll get Harvey on in just a minute. He's in the queue, but it's really odd. My street has 2 different power companies coming down the street, and it actually kind of cross over. It's weird, but anyway, these guys dropped a tree and they took out power on the other side of the street. Took out the power, took out the phone, just wiped it out. So of course, the electric company had to come out, and I was over there looking at it, and I had taken some pictures of it. And as I'm standing there, the guy from the other electric company, which happens to be EMC, he says, "You may not want to get too close to that power, it's on the ground. And I already knew that the power coming to that pole was gone, but it also was the last pole on the property, so like across the street. It wasn't going any further, so there was no back feed coming from anywhere. But he said, don't get too close to that line. That's 14,000 volts right there. And I was like, oh, that's probably a good idea. So I just got out of the way. And it just let it go. But it was, I heard it. I was in here in the garage working. I heard the tree fall and walked outside, and those guys were all scratching their heads like, oh, gee, how did that happen? I'm going to bring Harvey up, and I'm going to go ahead and look at some of these questions. Battery burnout, it's a range, not constant. All electrical can operate within a range of power. So use whatever time you like, change it up, and say you have 230 power. Okay. That's a good idea. Robert, I can haul a laptop out to the shop if you get tired of talking to yourself. Well, we have Harvey, who is extra clear tonight. You must have a good connection.
Yeah, I guess the kids aren't robbing my internet tonight yet or something like that.
Yeah, not yet. How are you doing?
Doing good. Everybody's staying healthy here, in New Jersey, the southern part.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're keeping busy, still kind of locked down. So there's plenty of time at night to work on cars and, pursue hobbies and stuff like that, I guess,
Yeah.
And the weather's been pretty good. No heat, no air required. That's nice,
That's a plus. Let me give you a bell for that. I like that.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, I actually had to turn on. Well, there was a day like last week that I had to turn the heat on in the shop because it was just like 60 degrees in here, which is a little cool for doing stuff. And then the next day I had to turn the AC on because it was like 80 degrees. And so I've been kind of balancing it out. But this morning I had it on for a little while because it was, again, like 58 degrees in the shop, 60 degrees. And I knew I was going to be out here. So I just had it running for a little while and got the heat up. But very, very handy to have that.
We had Saturday morning, there was ice on my cars. Like it had rained the night before and then everything froze. So it was below freezing Friday night. But, it got up into the 70s, I think, by Sunday. And, I'm like you. I don't like being cold. I know you've said that before. Yeah. I hate being cold when I work,
Yeah.
So I I thought, what's a project I could do where I don't have to worry about heat or air? So I rebuilt my heater box for my car last week. Actually,
I saw that. I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, I'd never make money doing it, I'll tell you, because it took me forever. But, you take it apart. All the doors are rusty. All the rubber seals are, all crumbly and falling off.
Yep.
So, one piece at a time, it's all going into the blast cabinet, cleaning it up and then etch prime it and painting it. And then I give it a day. And then the next night I glue some, seals on and stuff on the flaps and then sit a weight on top of them for that night and then assemble another piece the next day. And it took me forever, but, it's okay. Hey. I got time,
Yeah. Okay, man. I'm sorry I didn't realize, I get so many different names and stuff, but I see you've been here, so I'm glad you were here. And we got Hubert Hobblecobby. We are not from Birmingham. Oi, not we. Oi. So he says pubs closed, borders open, stabbings in line, people are dying. Okay, that doesn't sound very positive. Wake up, England. Okay, so we'll just skip over that. But yeah, that box looked good when you were done with it.
Yeah, I tried something. I was going to use regular fiberglass on it when I put it together, and I wound up using fiberglass. Like it was broken in a couple places.
Yep.
And used fiberglass mat, and then that short strand fiberglass reinforced filler.
Yep.
And that stuff's got a little more bulk to it, and it dries a lot faster too.
Yes.
And it seemed to hold on really tight. I prepped the area, like I kind of got down to raw fiberglass before I put anything on it. And I was pretty happy with the way it came out. I'd probably recommend that if somebody had to do it. And I think everybody's box has a crack or break in it somewhere if it's, 50 years old.
Yeah. I know whenever, when I started working on Jade, I took it all apart because it was a factory AC car too. And I started taking that stuff apart. And I already knew I was going to put vintage air in it. And so I think I announced it on YouTube that I was going to sell that stuff. And somebody contacted me. I ended up selling him the brackets and the AC and the compressor, and made him a package deal. And I forget where I sent it, but it all went away. So I wasn't planning on using that stuff. But
Yeah. I pressure tested my evaporator core. It was good. So I put it back in. I'm just going to leave it plugged. I don't know if I'll ever put air in the car, but if I got a part that far, I figured I can live with it in there, because my car was a 6-cylinder car with air. None of the brackets were going to change over, but I could get them if I wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, I don't know how bad it gets or how hot it gets really in New Jersey. I don't know if it's terrible. I don't know.
Yeah, we get like mid-July to probably late August is pretty nasty. But other than that, I'd probably be driving with the windows down anyway or something like that. So,
well, that's what I do. Even in my vehicles that have AC, I don't use it. I just I just drive it the way it is, and you know, just get used to it. You know, I didn't grow up with AC, so it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, my 95 pickup that has like 400,000 miles on it still has working AC, because I use it about one day a year. You know, I'll crack the sliding back window, crack the side glass when I'm going down the highway, and that's good. You know, I'm okay.
Yep. That's all it takes. I don't know if you saw it.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Harvey is saying, Brian's saying hi to you.
Oh, hey, Brian.
And he hates the cold too.
Yeah, all of us are probably ready for like just spring is good, not midsummer, just spring. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the weather. The weather in Georgia has been really nice. It's been chilly, but it's like gets up to about 70, and I'm like, this is great. That's all I need. Yeah, yeah. In fact, we had planned on my wife. She wanted to go to the lake this past weekend. We have a camper set up at a lake, and we started looking at the temperatures and said no. It was supposed to be like 37 degrees on at the lake on Saturday, and I said that's not going to be fun. Yeah. That's not fun. So we're going to probably go either this weekend or next weekend. We haven't decided yet, but let's see. Hold on a second. Are we still on the voltage trip? I left and came back and still, yeah. Yeah, we decided we're going to do call it 115 and 230. We'll just split the difference and just call it an average. So that'll be an easier fix. 107 here in Phoenix last week. Woo!
Yeah,
man. Yeah, but it's a dry heat, right? Dry heat. That's the advantage. Let's see, Dave, late to class tonight. Well, aren't you helping Brian? Aren't you supposed to be helping Brian with his Mustang, Dave? Are you working on your 31? Got to get that thing out. You're riding without a woman if the AC is not running.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, okay.
I try to be nice to my wife and use the air if she's in the car, you know.
Well, yeah, it's mandatory with my wife. Yeah. But when I drive her vehicle, she has a Honda Odyssey, and she puts the air vents blowing right in her eyes. I don't understand it. It's right in just everything cold air on your face. I have to get in and flip all the vents because it just gives me a headache. I just don't like it. But let's see, Leonard, you're lucky here. You drive with the AC from about now till the middle of October. Yeah, he's in Northern California. Donald, you ever roll fenders on a 65? No, I have not. But I have seen people do it various ways. Old school trick is take a baseball bat, put it on top of the tire, and back the car back and forth and let the baseball bat push the fender up. That's one old school trick. But they do sell a tool that you can use, which is probably more efficient. So you may want to look at that.
I had to do a modification on our white car, just a little bit, because the tires we had, if you went around a corner and it dove into the corner, it would scrub the inside edge of the fenders.
Yeah.
So I used, you probably have one of these. Hang on.
Let's see. Brian, your Georgia peaches are weather spoiled. Yeah, probably so. Oh, yeah. I have a dolly like that.
So I kind of used it up inside the wheel well and just, you know, I didn't bash it, but just worked it. And actually,
Yeah.
I think I had it covered over with a piece of cloth too, because I didn't want to damage the paint.
Yeah.
Just kind of worked it all around. And you know, you can influence them in if your clearance is pretty close.
Yep.
You know, you can move a 1/16 or maybe an 1/8 of an inch. That gave us enough clearance that the tires actually work pretty good without, you know, bending or painting anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Let me see here. Well, yeah, didn't I say Jack? I thought I said Jack, didn't I? Dave? I thought I said, aren't you supposed to be helping Jack? Sorry, maybe I said it wrong. I don't know. I can't remember what I've said 2 minutes ago. Kenneth, I'm guessing having trouble finding doors for a 69 Mustang. I'm told Dynacorn doors are probably the best fit. Best bet, would you recommend them? Well, I have not worked with the Dynacorn doors for a 69, but that's probably your best option. I'll just put it that way. You're pretty limited as to what's available, but I think Dynacorn has been doing their homework a little bit more on those doors, so that's probably your best option.
Hey Barry, I've wondered about skins on Mustang doors. Like if the skin's beat, but the structure of the door is good. I've never done a skin on a like a 68 or something. I've done newer cars. Any input on skinning an old door like that?
I have not done that. I've done it on newer stuff, with the collision work. I did a couple times, but I have not done it on an old, so I can't give any recommendations. I know I think they come bent at a 90 degree on that flange, and you just dolly it over. Mm-hmm. But I have not tried it, so I don't know.
It seems like all the reproductions are made out of thinner metal. I'm never really happy with the reproduction parts, Yeah,
that's you're right.
It's a trade-off.
Guido, I rolled my fenders all the way around, so he's got that cool little fastback. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Nope. The high desert 90s at night and 110 in the day for Leonard. But it's a dry heat. Come on. It's a dry heat. You gotta love it. Okay, Donald. You think I said Brian? I don't know what I said. I thought for sure I said Jack, because I know Jack is up there with the fastback, and he lives close to Dave. That much I know. Harv cleaned up. Yeah.
Cleaned up? Trying.
Yep. Here you go. 777 Smitty. I just done the skin on both doors. 68 worked good, but not perfect, but good. So there's a testimony from 777 Smitty. But Harvey, you having your experience with collision stuff and bodywork and that sort of thing, it may be a good choice for you. It may be. I don't know.
It's funny. I hate to cut apart a door that I might fix, but it's really tempting on one that's pretty rusted out the bottom to give it a shot. I definitely put some input on your channel sometime and let you know how it goes if I do. Yeah.
That'd be great.
I watched your one video on this, I think it was a 69 or a 70, where you had to rebuild that inner corner where the weather strip and all goes. That was a lot of work. Did a nice job on it. I'm getting ready to, I've been dreading doing the one on my car, because even my replacement door is all eaten up in that lower corner where they all are. And I was looking last night on Craigslist, and I found a door for $50. That was rust free. In fact, I drove 45 minutes tonight and got it and picked it up. Let me do a quick flip.
Okay.
So here's my replacement door.
Yeah.
And it's solid down the bottom. It's got some serious peely paint on it, but like underneath of it. Not quite sure if they were on it. What's that?
Did it even have primer on it?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. It looks like straight enamel right over metal. Old school. Funny thing is, this door came off the same guy I got the hood from.
Okay.
But the inner piece, kind of upside down here, but real
Oh,
solid.
wow. Yeah,
So I was willing to work with that for $50.
sure. I would
And give it a
too.
try.
And that's surprising if it, up in New Jersey.
I was going to say, up here in the north, we don't find a lot of nice doors like that hanging around. You know, so you got to
No.
grab it while you can.
Yep. Dave, no, the lake we go to is over in Alabama. It's small town in Alabama we go to. Lake Lanier is pretty pricey. Okay, but yeah, I wouldn't mind going to Lake Lanier, but we have friends over at in Alabama, so we go over there. Dave can't help me work on my car. I need to film it still. Okay. Well, I want to come film it. I just have to wait for your wife's permission, because I can fly up there. It's not a big deal. Put on my mask, and get on the plane and show up. Leonard, what do you think about AMD products? I love AMD products. I'll say that. I put AMD quarter panels, tail panel, deck filler, various pieces on that 68 Camaro that I've done. I put a smooth firewall on another 68 Camaro, floor pan. AMD does their homework, and I'm really impressed by. I wish they made stuff for Mustangs, but they don't.
Me too.
We've talked about this before because they have the market is flooded with the Chinese stuff, and they can't make money. So, but I really like AMD's products, so I'll give AMD a bell just because I like them. Let's see, Michael. My oven is dry heat, but I don't want to sit in it. Yeah. Okay. All right, Dave. I may have misspoke. Have to take your word for it because there's a lot of names over here and stuff I'm trying to keep up with. Let's see. What? Oh, Space Car Boy. What's her name's calling? I have to go, guys. I'll give you a bell for that. Yeah, that's a good point. 777. It gave him an opportunity to sandblast and repair the inside structure. So that's another thing to consider with that door skin. The one that I just did, that little corner patch, I could, once that corner was cut out, I could see down inside, and it was all good. I just cleaned it up, treated it, and threw some primer down there to try to protect it. But that's a good point, Smitty. Whoops. Give you a bell for that. Yeah. Leonard, take it easy, Space Car Boy. Okay. Brian, were you satisfied with the Summit primer results? Thought you said before you used it for brand of paint. Yes. I've used PPG, Shopline, Epoxy before, and I gave the Summit a shot because it was reasonably priced, and I was happened to be at the Summit store whenever I was for something else, and I ran across it, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give it a shot, see what happens. Now, when I did that last video, somebody commented that I should have put the thing on paint shaker, which I did put it on a paint shaker for about 5 or 10 minutes. I had it going. And when I started filming, I had not opened the can and checked it to see if it had settled, if it had material settled in the bottom or not. So I had to stir it up, and that's what I was doing, manually. And anyway, once I mixed it with the catalyst, it thinned out nice, sprayed nice. So I'm happy with it. I don't have any complaints. I think it turned out super. So I guess that's an endorsement. I don't know, but I've only used PPG brand and this Summit brand. And I had somebody else, I've had a guy on here a couple times comment about another brand. I forget the name at this point, but I think he also commented on the video about another brand that he recommends. But Harvey, you have any insight on this epoxy?
The shop I worked at, we use PPG, which I always liked all their products. They had a great line of paint. This one, I tried out the epoxy primer I've done on my 68, I used Eastwood, and it's a one-on-one. It's really easy to mix up. You know, you can mix it in anything. And it kind of reminds me exactly of what it looks like, how, you know, just how yours worked. Lays out nice. I actually did my my floorboards with it all when I got them done. And I've jumped in and out of the car, you know, piled boxes on them. It's pretty tough stuff.
Yeah.
And I did the whole trunk floor with it too. So I've been satisfied with it so far. I mean, I'll have to scuff it good when I go to put any kind of top coat over it. But
Sure.
so far, you know, the Eastwood stuff seems pretty good. I think their products are pretty decent from what I know. I don't have years of experience with them. Maybe a couple, you know, working on my own car, but not a shop kind of experience or anything.
Yeah. I've just, you know, like the guy who commented on my video, he's like, you shouldn't cross over brands and stuff like that. But like I said, I don't see where, if it's an epoxy and it's dry, what's it going to do? You know, I don't know, but I understand his point. You know, obviously you should stick with name, you know, keep the names the same. Now I will say, I did a car years ago, and I don't think I filmed any of that, but I put on, what did I use? I sprayed it with, it had high build on it, and I blocked it, and I sprayed a sealer. I think it was some sort of sealer. And when I went to put on base coat, it crinkled, and it was a weird reaction, and the paint crinkled in several locations, just random. And I reworked it, reprepped it, shot it again, and those areas that I prepped were fine, and then it crinkled somewhere else. And this was all with the same brand of product, so it wasn't like I was mixing things together. So you can even have issues with using the same brand if there's, I don't know. It was a learning lesson, you know, for me at that point. Let's see, Leonard, got to go to Harbor Freight and buy one of their little sandblasters that got some rust issues in a sealed WL.
Probably Cal.
Cal. I'm going to guess Cal. Yeah, those little, and depending on the blaster, you know, I have a pot blaster from Harbor Freight, and when it works great. But when it doesn't work, it's a pain. You got to sit there, take it apart, clean it out, start over. But yeah, those little ones, I've used those little ones before. You're talking about the little cup. I keep playing with this little car. I keep playing with this little Mustang, but it's like a cup with a little blower on the front. Those work pretty good. Okay, so we have Guido. He says he has that roller tool. The roller I ended up using the bat. I lightly heat Fender, been doing it for years. Okay. So the tool that we're talking about, it mounts to your axle, and it's meant to follow the radius of the fender based on your rotor or your rear axle or whatever. I have not used it, so I can't say anything, but apparently Guido doesn't like it, and I don't have any experience, so I can't say either way, but I'll take his word for it. But I have seen people use the bats. Let's see. Robert, I think the Eastwood and Summit stuff is made by Kirker. They do a lot of private label products. Okay. Well, I'll give you a bell for that information because I don't know. I remember looking at the can and trying to find a name on it somewhere, but never did. So I just have to kind of go with it, whatever the information you may have. DuPont has an industrial epoxy, 25P, real tough stuff, but real nasty smell. Yeah. I don't think any of it smells really good.
If it smells good, it's probably killing you.
Yeah.
If it smells bad, I guess it's probably killing you worse.
That's why I just put the respirator on when I start mixing and don't take it off until I get everything together. Fairway, glad you're here. Let's see. Jorge, they work good. I'm not sure if he's talking about the Fender roller or not.
Or the little sandblasters.
Maybe the little sandblaster. That could be it.
I have one of those.
That's the hard part.
I'm sorry. Go
ahead. No,
I
you're
have one of
good.
those sandblasters that has like a little rubber like hose coming out the front of it. You kind of press it against the job and then pull the trigger. And that actually works pretty good for little spots. If you're say you're cruising through a panel, and you have one little spot that's got like a rust, pitting that you can't get to. It works good for very small areas like that. It's handy. And it was cheap,
Yeah. Joseph, Barry, I watched your epoxy video. Good job. When you were taping the doors, you're not going to paint the inside of the door factory interior color. I will be painting the inside of the door. But at this point, I only had the exterior of the door exposed, bare metal, and I wasn't worried about the other part. It has paint on it still. And so I'm not worried about that right now. So I wanted to get the side of the door and the outside of the door in epoxy, work that area, and then I can flip it over and strip the other side and work it. So that's the plan, at least. Let's see, Brooklyn 202. What are you cleaning bare metal with before self edge or epoxy? Well, you can. What I used, I showed it in the video. There's a product. What was it? DX101. Can't remember the name. Hang on a minute. Harvey, talk.
So I usually try to get it in primer as quick as I can. I've been relying on self-etch primer, so I'll wipe them down with lacquer thinner to clean it up. And I also try to target days that aren't that humid when I'm doing stuff like that, just because I'm limited ventilation and everything in my garage where I work. But I'm sure Barry's got something good for us.
Well, I've shown it before where I've used Windex to clean, and I've used Windex for years, and I've used other shops I know have used Windex and not had any issues with it. But again, people have commented you could leave a residue and stuff like that. So what you can use is something like this. This is JX101, and this is a wax and grease remover. Now, what I've done, I use Windex to get I blew it off, use some Windex to wipe off any junk, let that all dry out, blew it dry, and then came back with this JX101. Now I could have just went to straight 101 and sprayed it down and wiped it down and been fine. So you can use something like this wax and grease remover that'll take care of that stuff. But you got to make sure everything is dry. So use clean, dry air, blow everything out that you can, make sure there's no moisture in any of the fillers or anything like that. So it's not trapped in there. Hey, Ted, glad you're here. Paul, good luck. Harbor Freight is out of stock on items. All items have not caught up from China. Shut down. Was trying to get a buffer to do my stainless. Not available in East Coast. Okay. 327. Hi, Joe. I'm making progress in my frame rail replacing my 68 Mustang. I use your video as reference. Getting ready to weld. Mitch. Okay. Glad to hear that, Mitch. That's cool. Let me see. Where are we at? Oh, yeah. Jorge was talking about the sandblaster. I got another gnat flying around in here. Oh, yeah. Also, you tape off the trunk. You're not painting the trunk the factory color. Yes, the trunk will get paint. But, again, that's already been kind of some spray's already been put in there before, and it's full of junk. So I wasn't worried about that at this point. I'm just trying to get the outside of the car together, and I'll worry about that other stuff later. My window of opportunity is getting smaller. Okay, yeah. Let's see. I prefer SPI Epoxy company just east of Atlanta, which I'm near. Yeah, I think that's what I remember you mentioning that before, LD. Is DX101 just wax and grease remover? That's what it is. But it does a pretty good job. It used to be, honestly, there were times at the body shop where we would wash a car, like get it prepped and just wash it. Get all the junk, blow it all out and wash it down with water, soap and get it clean. I think we use like Dawn dishwashing liquid and, just a little tiny bit to help it. And even for like block sanding or wet sanding, we put a little bit of Dawn in the water and wet sand, so it helps it slide around. It makes
that too. Yeah, it does. It's kind of like a nice smoother transition.
Yeah, So that was just something else we used to do. Just a little bit of Dawn and a couple of gallons of water, and block sanding, and But then again, like I said, I've used, and I'll say it, I've used Windex. I don't have an issue with it. Some people do have an issue with it, but I have never had an issue. So if you want to use it, that's on you. But yes, I followed up with the DX101. Seemed to work fine.
Hey Barry, I learned that one trick I learned from you was taking a rag with lacquer thinner and wiping it over body filler.
Yeah,
to kind of knock the top off. I never knew that one. All the years I never did that, and it does save the paper from clogging up in the beginning. That was a great tip.
Yeah, I mean it's I forget, somebody explained the science to it. I don't remember. Somebody had talked, because I remember just doing it, just wipe it over. I don't know if our PPG rep told us about that or somebody else, but you hit it and it takes that tackiness off, dries it out. It seems to work really well. So, Guido, what is the hype of all these ceramic wax now? I was looking into Turtle Wax brand. Any feedback? I have no feedback on the ceramic stuff. I've seen commercials or ads on YouTube. I don't know anything about it. I know that there's a lot of hype, but I don't know for sure. I've not messed with it. Brooklyn. Okay, yeah, you're welcome. I'm trying to keep this up. I get all these comments going on the side, and it's hard sometimes to keep up with them. Yeah, a lot of guys use cheap acrylic enamel reducer to wipe off the bare steel. Yeah, I mean, there's a variety of things you can use. What is the difference between DX101 and 101? 2 letters? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't. So I'm just going to say it's got 2 letters difference.
Maybe the DX has some more options. Like the Hondas have the EX and the DX and all like that.
LX, yeah. Maybe there's different levels of quality or something. I don't know. LD, I get really good results. Rubbing alcohol on lint-free wipe off. There you go. I actually use Bounty paper towels. They do a great job. They don't fall apart. They grab stuff, and but I've used Bounty paper towels for years. Let's see, Brian, I know the Eastwood paint products are about half the price of our local paint supplier, Hovis. Just wondered if anyone had experience with Eastwood. So Harvey, you were saying you used Eastwood epoxy, right?
I've used a couple other products. I used their epoxy. Their rust encapsulator I've used. I actually bought that in an aerosol can to kind of spray here and there when I've got, an area that's maybe not quite as clean as I want it, rust-wise, I can't get to it. And it's pretty good. There was a guy on YouTube, I saw a demonstration. I'll assume it was accurate, but he took a piece of metal, maybe like 4 feet long, and he painted sections like with DP40, rust encapsulator, a Rust-Oleum product. He had like 4 or 5 different ones, wrote a date on them, and left them out in his yard for a year and came back. And according to his thing, now maybe he works for Eastwood, but the rust encapsulator was actually the top one there that held up the best. And the, some of the other ones like, well, they had everything from bubbling rust underneath of them to, a lot of them aren't real UV friendly, like UV breaks them down.
Right.
So if you were spraying in a cowl, I'd be scared to do that. If sun goes in through the cowl, it might break it down.
Right.
But it was kind of interesting to see that, but that was the one that held it the best. And I think I might make a few of my own test panels on some maybe like not perfectly clean metal. Just throw them out in the yard and see how they weather, And
that was the Eastwood rust encapsulator?
Yeah, they're rust encapsulator. That's an aerosol can. And I've used so far their epoxy primer's been nice. And they also have a spray can etch primer that I've used on bare metal spots, when you sand through and you want to just get something on it before you go over it with a high build or something.
Right.
And my red Mustang that I had for years, I had done a lot of spots like that with just aerosol, and then, the other products over top. Like 8 years later, it was still holding up really good. No chipping, no peeling, no pulling scratches, or, no funny reactions, things you might see. Sometimes if a product doesn't like something else, 6 months down the road is when you see it. You don't see it right after you paint the car.
Right.
Yeah, their stuff seems pretty good.
Okay. Ted is saying isopropyl alcohol works good. Just wipe it dry. That's something else you could wipe it down with. I know this JX101 JX101 is not JX. Yeah. I don't think it was that expensive, like $20 for a 1 gallon. I don't remember, but I'm saying it's not that expensive of a product. I don't know how that compares to, little bottles of alcohol. I don't know what the price range difference is, but yeah, but I would definitely blow it out with, dry shop air. Brendan's checking in.
Hey, Brendan.
Wonder if he should be back at work. So maybe he has a little time at work.
I think today's day off. Or
maybe today is his day off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second.
Turtle Wax hybrid solution.
Jorge, wait a minute. The Turtle Wax hybrid solution. Okay, so he's endorsing that over the ceramic, I guess. I'm not familiar. Leonard Guido Ultra Car Care Super Finish is what I've been using for over 30 years, and it's great for clear coat finishes. So
cool.
There's an endorsement from Leonard for Ultra Car Care. Not heard of it, but Jorge, I did not. You just sent me an email? You must not have sent it to me. Let me see if wait a minute. Let me give you I'm not sure what you're trying to send me. If you're trying to do a get in on the live stream or not. Because I have your email. Let's see what we got here. Okay, Joseph, I misheard you. I thought you said you could have just used 101. Yeah, I mean, I still want to wipe it down with something and then hit it with the 101, just because. Let's see, Guido. I have good paint is a paste or liquid. So he's asking. Yeah, I'll have to just skip over that. Leonard saying, hi, Brendan. Okay. Oh, so Brendan is saying his day off is tomorrow. So he's at work. Okay. Jorge, let me send you a link. I think I have your email right. So I sent you a link. Hopefully I sent it to the right one. The only one I have one here is Jorge. So Guido, okay. All right, so Leonard, he says Leonard needs a ding. I thought I gave him one, but I'll give him another one. And we got Tim has checked in. Cool. All right, so I sent Jorge a link to, yeah, he just got it. So he's going to be checking in here as well. And he's got some interesting projects he's working on. I don't know if he can show them or not. He sent me some interesting pictures. And, it's really cool to see that stuff. And I've said it before, you get all these, like we're doing this here, and then the viewers project segments and stuff like that lets people know that there's lots of people in that boat.
Yeah.
that are all paddling the same way, trying to get it moving. And the gentleman that I talked to, oh God, hey Michael, the gentleman that I had talked to, he's been sending me messages, and he sent me that video. Like I said, he's got to be early to mid 70s, and he's building a '65 Mustang coupe. So I love it. That there's guys, in the 70s and such, still working on this stuff. I think it's awesome. Brendan getting stuff done on Vandemar, rust around windscreen, and rear window done. Okay, good. That's Brendan, good to hear.
We need an update video or some pics on that. I'm liking that project.
Yeah, it's an interesting event. We did Brendan did a live stream, was a week or so ago.
Yeah, like a Saturday, a little over a week ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was me and Harvey on his live stream, hanging out and looking at his project. But he's building it's like a camper van, I guess, is what is technically called. they call it what, a caravan over there. I think it's
Yeah.
what the word is.
It's like some of the vehicles, you can kind of tell where their heritage is in our American cars, and some of them I've never seen before. I love seeing completely different cars that, it's totally new to me.
Yeah, yeah, and you just don't. You're like, wait a minute, that doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
Okay, so Leonard's saying that wax is not cheap. Yeah, so his paint job wasn't cheap either. All right, we got Jolie Cox in the house. Glad you're here. Yeah, so Leonard's asking how the van is doing. Joseph, it depends on what you were doing. It's really a spray to help keep your car clean longer and it's quick to apply versus a true wax. Okay, if the car is dry, you get the ceramic spray coating. I get it. Okay, yeah, a lot of times, like my Model A, I use the Meguiar's spray cleaner and a terry cloth, to wipe it down, get all the dust off of it and dirt off of it. I've never washed the car. I've just used Meguiar's, get all the junk off of it, and it works really good, at least for me. 327, I bought the Eastwood MiG 135, and it welds up to 3/16 metal. Per their call center, is this enough to weld the frame, rail? How can I send you to be part of the? Okay, that's plenty. There is not anything on a Mustang that's 3/16 of an inch thick. There's no metal. I mean, you'd have to stack up a lot of stuff to get to 3/16 of an inch, and generally you're doing plug welds, so anything that's going to be on the backside, you're just adding to it. So you can attest to that, I'm sure, Harvey.
Oh yeah, you can adjust wire diameters too, but
yeah.
most of the stuff in my 68, my welder's never been up over halfway. It's got way more power than what you need, and my welder's no big either. It's about a 130.
Most of mine is set at the settings are 2 and 2 on the heat, 2 on the speed, B on the heat range. I got plenty of power.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Brendan's working on a video for the van. Joe Lee finally got his car painted Acapulco blue.
All right,
I'll give you some bells for that because that's.
If I had a bell, I'd ring it too. If I had a bell, I'd ring it for that one too. I love that color.
Yeah, I love that color. That's awesome. But he's sent me messages before on Facebook and different things, looking at his car, stuff he's got to do. So that's awesome. I'm glad he's got it in some color. Oh, my compressor is venting. So no big deal. LD, just curious about a 67 convertible interior quarter trim. It has a few dents. Can the dents be removed without damaging the texture? Graining, filler can't be used. Thoughts? Well, I'm going to say yes, but you probably want to talk to a PDR guy. If you've ever used paintless dent repair or seen somebody do paintless dent repair, I would get one of those guys to massage it. I mean, you can try to hammer it out and dolly it, but those guys work magic with PDR.
I did that for a couple years for Volkswagen, Audi, and Porsche at the Port of Wilmington. They called it their post-production center. We'd, pop out the dings when they banged them up, bring them over to this country.
Yeah.
And, on glossier, thicker paints, we'd warm them up with a, heat gun or something like that. So the paint was less likely to crack. And if you're, I don't know what size the dent is, but the rule was you would start with the outside of the dent and work your way in.
Right.
And we had a series of different tools. We used a lot of stainless steel rods that were kind of polished into like a little round edge or a round ball in the end.
Yep.
Something looked like spoons. A panel like that, if you can lay it out on a bench or something soft, like say a bag of sand or whatever, you could probably work it with like a rounded wood block or like a dowel that's, has a real dull edge to it, and just kind of work it easy, like, kind of push the metal back where it came from without making it a mountain coming out the other side. I know my interior panels in the back, I could lay them down and see the back or the front on a coupe, I'm pretty sure. So if a convertible is the same way, you should be able to work them out.
Yeah. I mean, it's just take some finesse. You can't just smack at it. Like he's saying, he's using a wood dowel or something and gently tap it, and try to work it down.
We have these things. I'll show you one of the tools I still have in my box. They're there all the time. I used to call them crayons, but they were. Let me see. Where's my camera? There it is. So it's like a piece of. It's almost like it's like Luan or something. I'm not sure what that material is. It's clear plastic.
Yeah.
And we would sharpen up the end. This one has kind of a blunt tip, so that's one.
Yeah,
If you
back
would
it
like
up just a little bit. There you go. That way you can see it. It's a little out of focus. There you go.
There we go. Gotcha. So, if we had a high spot popping out from somewhere, you could take this. I'd use like a hammer handle, work around it, and kind of tap down, and hit the tip of the little mountain last. But, we have a bunch of these things. They have all different little shapes on the end. Some of them are like a blade. Some of them are a blunt tip. Some of them are rounded. But, you could make that out of almost anything. A piece of a maple dowel would probably make just as good of a punch or whatever you want to call that tool as like the plastic things are.
Yeah, I had some I have somewhere some white plastic that is like that. You can tap with it because we had PDR guys come into the body shop. They were just amazing. I mean, cars with 200 dents in them, and they'd sit there and work that little tool and push them up, tap a little bit, push them up, tap a little bit.
Yeah,
and gone. Just amazing. But I don't know how hard it would be with the because it's not a panel that's braced against something. Like you're saying, you could set it on a sandbag or something soft to try to work it down because the PDR guys rely on leverage. So they got to have somewhere to push the rod against so that the tip is doing its job. You can't just kind of push at it. So, but yeah, it can be fixed. Oh, Brendan picked up another moped.
right.
Donald, RGD cars are interesting, like a Ford truck 3-door with a 63 Falcon back end factory built. That would be an interesting conglomeration. Michael, I have a Well PC. Okay. Yeah. 777, try wood blocks to remove dent. Hopefully that will save the texture. Yeah. And Weld Pack 100. Okay, he has a Weld Pack 100. I get it. And 135 will do holes at 3/16 easy, no problem. Yes, definitely. Harvey, I have Jorge wanting to slide in here, so I'm going to bring him on. If you want to stay, that's fine. It's up to you.
I'll hang out for a little bit, and then I actually have some things to do later. So let me say hi to Jorge.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing?
So we have Jorge here.
Hey guys.
Now your Mustang. If I'm trying to remember what you have, it's a 66.
It's a 66. I have two of them.
Okay.
So the red car was my wife's car originally. She had that back in the 80s, and then it was just really bent. And then her brother was just learning bodywork at the time, welded over the bent frame and the chassis and everything. And so when I got the car years later, I tried putting it together, and nothing was lining up, and it was just like so the back end. Come to find out, the car was hit so hard from the back, it got pushed into a rock wall and then bent. It just got bent and twisted, and then he tried to straighten it out and just weld all kinds of panels and stuff on it. So I was like, I couldn't get anything to fit. The back was probably off like 1.5 inches.
Oh wow!
And then the front is probably off like maybe a good 1.75 inches, 2 inches up in the front.
Wow.
So I was like, I couldn't deal with this. So then I went and we got a donor car. So I figured we just kind of swapped the parts, and donor car ended up being a lot straighter, but it needed a ton of work. Like it was all like every Mustang that you usually get, it's all covered, and they did a great job with the undercoat to hide everything, and he starts cleaning it. It's like you just keep finding more and more of a disaster.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, luckily your videos and your channel's awesome, man. It gives me the inspiration to do it, because like I'm in over my head. It's like it's wild. So I ended up I kept watching your videos, and then I got a couple of friends that to give me some ideas to help me out with it, and ended up using a self-leveling laser to kind of to get a point where to start. But ended up doing the rockers are really tricky. to try to get that done. And so right now I've got like the floors cut out of it, the whole back end's cut out of it. And now I've got it up on straps, hanging up in the rafters, and then the support piece in the back, you know, just to put in. So we're going to do the rockers, and then the subfloor, then the firewall, then the cow. You know, so so the scary part is like, you know, how do you make sure that stuff is really square? You know, I mean, I'm using a self-leveling laser because the floor is just off like a lot, so there's no way to measure it off the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you doing inner rockers and outers, or just inner rockers?
Yeah.
Inner and outer?
Yeah, inner out. Yeah, it's not going to be too much of the car left other than the roof and the rear truck.
Yeah, I've got one of them too.
It's like, man, where do you stop and start? But it's, you know, all I'm trying to do is just make a safe everyday retro. You know, just an everyday diary. It's going to be straight and safe. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to build a show car.
Right.
You know, and then so the cool thing is I got a really good deal on a subframe. It was a Dynacorn, and the guy started this other project that they were doing, this really crazy thing that these guys were doing, and I got it pretty cheap, like $1,300 for it. But again, that's all. It's, you know, it wasn't on the jig, so it was a little twisted and kind of bent, so I got to straighten that out. But I got it pretty close, and then I welded Total Control's rear suspension, so I'm going to put one of those 4-link setups on it.
Okay.
That's coming out pretty good.
Okay.
So,
Good.
You know.
So is that like a one-piece floor assembly with rails and everything that you're putting into it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'll see if I can bring it up on the thing here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to click on some of these. Joseph sent me an email, so I'll have to look and see what he has to send. Tim, I have some aluminum trim on a Barracuda that needs to be straightened. I was wondering what you could tell me about someone who could anodize that for me. I don't have a good answer for that. I know that there are certain states that will allow chemical processes, but it is okay.
Oh, so you've got that floor sitting, I guess, upside down, so you can work on the bottom of it right now, right?
Yeah, I weld a lot better that way.
Yeah,
oh, I love welding upside down, right?
Yeah.
That's great. That's really cool.
But Tim was asking about this aluminum trim. You just have to do some research on that, because I know in the past we had some stuff, not necessarily aluminum, but like to get it chrome, we had to send stuff to Tennessee because their restrictions aren't as great as the Georgia area. So you may have to look at sending us out of state to get something done like that, but I don't have a good answer for you on that. Sorry. So Jorge, you said that is a Dynacorn one-piece, you know, subframe, and then it has a Total Control. Is a suspension setup going in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I thought was that while the floor was out of it, and I was able to flip it upside down, just weld everything really nice, you know, and just support it. So when I did that, I also welded, you know, some of the welds are kind of crappy, so I kind of redid them, you know, on the actual Dynacorn piece, just made it more solid, and I figured it can only help it, you know. So I did that. And then
you said it was twisted too. Something was out of shape with that.
Well, that's brand new. Well, when I got it delivered, he just kind of dragged off his pickup truck. It was just kind of hanging there, you know. So it wasn't like it came really nice and supported, like, you know, how it normally comes.
Oh yeah, yeah. They usually come with attached to a steel grid.
Yeah, that would have been nice to use as a jig, but he already used it for something else. So, you know, I was just happy to get that for $1,300.
Oh yeah, you got a good deal, because I think they're like $2,600 normally or something like that.
Yeah, but by the time you get it delivered with the freight up here, it probably would have been about $4,500.
Really?
Yeah, by the time because you know, by the time you get it shipped out here.
Oh, maybe I need to start building those and delivering them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The guys who are doing this, they're Main Street Auto. They do unbelievable custom work up there. It's like little garage tucked away.
Yeah,
it's really wild stuff that they're doing. The project they were doing, wild. They took a brand new Mustang, like a GT, I think it was like a 2007, that got wrapped around something, and they took it and they just cut the top of it off, and they're welding on a 69 Mach 1 body on it, piece by piece.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, they modified it, and it's with a supercharger. The thing's probably got like 700 horsepower or something crazy.
Jeez.
You know, so the guys built it, and I've got some race car experience, you know, for so they're asking me like, well, what do you think? And I'm like, you know, you think we should put a roll bar in it? Roll bar? I'm thinking a full blown cage is.
Yeah.
I go, well, I don't know. Listen, tell the guy, look, you put a full blown cage in it, it's going to stiffen up his suspension, so you're going to get that for free. And then, by the way, when he flips it, or if he flips it, you know, at least you'll be covered. You know, you'll live through it. But it's just crazy stuff those guys are building. So that's where I got these parts from, and that's the guy that talked me into doing this. But I tell you, it wasn't for your videos, man. At least I got a shot at getting this done.
Well, that's great. Yeah, that's great. And that's, you know, that's why I keep putting them out. I try to, and there's, you know, I've said it before, and I don't know how to word this the right way, but there's a lot. I have 500 videos on YouTube, right? And a lot of those are Mustang videos. And sometimes I worry that I'm repeating myself with the processes that I'm doing. You know, I'm like, well, I've already done a video on this, but I guess what I fail to recognize is not everybody has seen my old videos. So even though I'm repeating it, I know I'm repeating it, new viewers are picking up at that point rather than going backwards. You know, so sometimes I feel like I've already shown how to block sand, you know, but there's people that they want to see more, you know. So it's kind of hard for me to judge when I should or shouldn't put stuff out like that.
Just keep just doing what you're doing. It's great because, man, a lot of times, you know, you end up playing stuff over and over again until you you miss a section. That's what's great about the videos. Just keep playing them back until you kind of figure it out. You know what's going on. So and it's just so cool to watch you, like how you're like, oh, this doesn't fit. And I'm like, holy shit, it's not just me. It's like, oh look. And that one video was great because you were like, this is a Dynacore part. It was like, you're looking, you know, it's obviously it's a China, you know, it was just with a Dynacore cardboard box label on it and a sticker, but it definitely wasn't the same parts like they were. I've been doing pretty good finding stuff on eBay. I'm trying to get older stuff, you know, like I've got all the parts to do it. I got enough to build 2.5 cars, but it's like you say, you know, it's like, yeah, you get these quarter panels, like, holy shit, you're spending days trying to figure out how to get this stuff to fit and how to, do that, you know. And you know, I've got some body work. I've restored a couple of cars and got some body work, but this is like, man, this is like you're building like from scratch. This is just crazy doing this. You know?
Let me point this out. Brendan is off tomorrow. He's in New Zealand, and he'll be doing a live stream 11 a.m. his time, which is 7 p.m. here in the States or in Georgia. So if you're not following Brendan and you want to see what he's doing, check out his channel. And he'll do a live stream. It's nice to see what he's got going on. And so just a shout out for Brendan there.
Definitely.
And I'm not trying to bypass. I want to make sure these comments get some traction. Do you guys still recommend? He wants to do single stage. Do you guys still recommend base clear? I do. I prefer base clear. I've never really messed with single stage much. Unless we were painting, like, I know I've said it before, we used to paint like something was going to be on the road, like a semi truck. We would paint with a single stage. I can't remember the name of the product, but it was something with a D. It was something with a D, if I remember right. But it was a heavy duty paint.
Emron?
So, no, it was not Emron.
Yeah.
Deltron, maybe.
Deltron or
Centauri?
But it was, huh?
Was it Centauri? Centauri
No, it
was
wasn't
an old
Centauri.
DuPont.
Yeah, this was under the PPG branding, and it's a heavy duty paint. I'm pretty sure it's PPG. Oh, here we go. So Jack is asking, where in New Jersey are you from, Jorge?
We're in Bergen County, the Corona capital of the United States, probably.
Oh, great.
It's yeah. That's another thing too. It's great about this channel. I totally get away from it. I'm so sick of it all day long. And I'm in
Yeah.
healthcare on top of it, so it's like it makes it even worse. You know,
Yeah.
just dealing with it. But thanks for
Also,
asking.
Down around like I'm sort of across the river from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I'm South Jersey.
Oh, cool.
South Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have at least 4 people that are on here from New Jersey right now, and we got let's see, Robert. Oh, so Robert's going to do one of those tip over jigs. So he had talked about that before. You know, you can build that wooden tip over jig, you stand it up on its side, so that he's going to plan on doing that. I think he was going to make it so you could put it either direction. I think so. Maybe Robert will share some pictures or stuff with us eventually.
You could, you probably could get a used rotisserie though. I mean, those things usually you can pick those up pretty reasonable, you know, and
you can,
instead of building it.
but
You know?
I know Robert likes to work with wood, so he may just want to. He's got his, all the equipment. So
I just have to have a safety line so it didn't roll down my driveway if it got out of hand, you know.
yeah. Doug McCann, he's asking 64.5 convertible project. In your Mystique video, you mentioned the air filter, water separator, and your paint booth brand. I don't know the name of that brand offhand. That was an industrial product that we had used at the body shop. It was attached to our paint booth, and whenever we upgraded to a full-blown dryer for the system, we took those out. And I don't remember the brand name. I'm sorry, but it is. You can probably do some searching and find those products.
Harbor Freight's got one, I think, for like $450. With some decent reviews.
The dryer.
Yeah, they got.
Yeah, I think they have a dryer. Yeah, I've been tempted to get one, but I have not. But I probably should. So Tim is saying, you think
I made a redneck one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you guys want to see it?
Sure. Yeah. Tim is saying he thinks the state of Michigan allows for the anodizing, so you may want to message Tim and get some more information on that. Trip Corbin, hey buddy. Sometimes even you show the same thing, you often include a new little tidbit that is very helpful. Okay. If you haven't seen it, Trip has a viewers project video. He has that yellow, I think it was a 67 coupe.
All right, cool.
Pretty neat story on that one. His dad bought it new. So let's see. I do the same thing with many of my training and how-to videos on GIS software. Okay, good. All right, so let me get this off so we can see. Oh, I see what you did there. Now is that copper?
Yeah, it's 3/4 copper.
You could distill your own alcohol with that when you're not using it for a water separator too.
Don't give my nephew any ideas, please.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, because it's.
So is that a heater up in the corner?
What's that?
What's the white thing up in the corner? Is that a heater?
Yeah, it's a heater. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got heating and air conditioning.
Okay. Does it work well to dry out your air?
Yeah. Yeah, it works really well. And then in the basement, I actually have a Harbor Freight glass beater, and I have it running all the way. I have a line running all the way across the garage, under the ground, another like 70 feet into the basement. So between all that, it works great. It works really well. It's probably about 75 feet of copper, so
yeah.
75 feet run. So between that and one of those toilet filter systems, it works great. I haven't had any problems with it yet.
I've seen people do that. I've actually seen people use I think they use a big like truck radiator.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was another thing that they used. And
anything to cool the to cool the air, just to keep it cold. That'll just condense it. The trick is to try to pipe it so that it's going to run back,
right?
So it doesn't, and then so you could bleed it off. I've got this thing. I ended up just drilling a hole and having it to the side of the garage. So when you bleed it, it blasts out. But it's great when somebody walks by and you open it.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering with the radiator, if you had a nice big old radiator with the drain cock, if you could drain the petcock drain, if you could just use that.
Well, the thing is with the air. First of all, it's a lot of air pressure, so I'd be a little bit concerned about running that kind of pressure with like a radiator. People
Yeah.
have used like transmission coolers, you know, that I've seen them do that kind of
Okay.
stuff. You know, that I kind of did that on my little compressor. It didn't really work that great. To, you know,
Okay.
it didn't really, like, it looks like a radiator and it goes back and forth, and that's what you want it to do. You want it to travel, so
Right.
that length.
Yeah. So it drains downhill.
Yeah, so it gives it a chance to the water to separate from the air and to drain back somewhere. But it's been working out great, and it was pretty cheap considering all the other alternatives, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so and I had plenty of parts. So
Smitty's asking, can you number your videos, and then when people ask, you can refer to them? I wish I could. I have them broken down in the playlist, and I don't know if I could. With 500 videos, that'd be a hard time for me to think, okay, well, this number 27 covers this. It would be, it's a good idea, but I'm probably late to that concept for trying to number them out. So we got John waving and Deltron. That's the name. That's what I was trying to. I get a bell, but I'll share it with John. Yes, Robert says he has done single stage and would only use it for non-exterior body stuff. Non-exterior body stuff. Okay. Bob, PPG concept and use clear in last coat gives you features of both single and base coat, clear coat. Aha. PPG concept. Yeah, we used that before. And we have Jack is saying Lake. I don't know. For me, Jorge, 5,900 infected in Morris County. Lake Hoppet. I don't know how to say it.
It's Lake Apacon.
Okay,
Apacon, but it's actually Lake Apacon is how they pronounce it.
I'll take your word for it.
I deal with nursing homes, and it's actually it's a lot worse than it really is, because the problem is, as soon as it gets into nursing homes, they have no immune system left. And I did that job. I was a maintenance director, campus director for a healthcare company for 6 years, and they're not equipped to handle it. They could barely handle the normal stuff like C. diff or noroviruses like that. And then this stuff gets in there. It's horrible. It's really bad what's going on. So you'll probably see it in the news, you know, down the road, because they're saying like, oh, well, you know, these people are dying of old age. I'm like, yeah, but 35 of them didn't die in 1 week of old age. It's just not the norm. It doesn't happen like that. You know, the problem is that they don't get tested. So because they don't get tested, they didn't die. You know, they didn't die from the virus. They died from something else. But with this virus, you don't die from the virus. You die with the virus. It attacks everything else. It goes after the weakest link, and then and that's the thing. It's really, you know, the good part is that the hospitals are doing a good job with it as far as treating people. They've got medications that are actually working pretty good. We know a couple people that went in, and they if you get there early enough, is really the main thing. The best thing you could do is get one of these things. This is you can see that.
Yep.
This is like a little $35 test tool, and all it does is it gives your oxygen level. This is the most important thing, because what will happen is you can actually feel fine, and do you guys know what hypoxia? Oh, yeah, you know hypoxia, right? So what happens is some people will the virus will start attacking you, and then you start getting hypoxia. And what happens is that you start feeling like high, like lethargic, and you feel okay, but you're not. And like, so you can have a cold, but if this thing is, or a flu, but if this thing is attacking you and you're all of a sudden you're going through hypoxia, and you're not feeling it because you're getting numbed out from the lack of oxygen going to your brain, that's when you get in trouble. Like, so If you get one of these, this tells you as long as you're anything about 90% or higher, you're in good shape. As soon as you get below 90, then you're gonna have starting to have a problem. That's when you need to get on supplemental oxygen.
Okay, now where do you get one of those?
Amazon are like a lot of places. They're like a $15 thing. They're going up anywhere from $35 to $100 now. But that's something that you really want to get. So if you get sick, that's more important to have than anything else, because like temperature and all that. We've seen people that hardly had any symptoms, that had it, were confirmed they had it, and they didn't have any symptoms. They were completely, they felt fine. They were going around okay. They gave it to their wife. The wife was really sick. I mean, really sick. And all of a sudden he wasn't feeling well, went to the hospital. They started treating him, and then he died 5 days later. And he showed barely any symptoms, just like a mild fever.
Yeah.
So it's really crazy because, and the other thing is too, it depends what kind of strain. It's like anything else. There's different strains of it. So
what is that device called?
Oh, it's an oximeter. It's a SPO2 meter.
Okay.
SPO2.
I'm kind of looking up right now, just seeing what's out there. It looks like, well, it says Walmart sells them.
Yeah, they're very common. They're really common thing to have. What they do is they actually like anybody has a problem. Like I've got asthma, so.
Okay.
So I've had, and I'm also a pilot. So when we used to go up to altitude, I always want to see how I'm doing. If I'm really starting to stress out. So they would put this on me, like, oh, okay, So the ones that the guys used to use, the flight instructors, they actually had ones that told you what your oxygen level was at what altitude. So,
nice.
So they had some pretty cool stuff. So I just got this one because when I was flying for some of my flight training, but talking to the guys in the hospital and the nursing places, like, this is really what you want to have, because the moment you can't tell what your oxygen level is. I mean,
right.
And the problem is that as soon as you start losing oxygen to your brain, you start getting high. You feel fine. You start numbing out. So, and I think that's the biggest problem with this virus that they're not really talking about. They're not really, letting people know that. So if you're sick, if you're home, you're monitoring.
That's good information, because I did not know that, and I'm sure everybody watching here did not know that. So that gets you at least.
Cool! I got a bell. Yeah, finally.
So I'll have to look into that, because I'm wondering. I've had some issues. For me, I like to run. I've said it before. I try to run 2 to 3 times a week, and I gave myself some sort of heat condition, either heat exhaustion or heat stroke, a couple of years ago. And since that time, I've struggled when I try to do a long run of over 3 miles. And I'm wondering if it's something internally, because I'm getting older, obviously. It could be a thyroid condition. Who knows? But maybe that would give me some idea of what my oxygen levels are too, as some sort of a monitor. I don't know.
They've got some. I mean, for what you're doing, you might want to look into getting maybe a watch that does that. They got some pretty cool athletic watches.
That's true. Yeah.
And, my thing is I don't get enough sleep. I'm just too hyper, so my brain's going 200 miles an hour. It's like, if it wasn't for my good friends Jack Daniel and Johnny Walker, I'd be in trouble. But
I hear melatonin works well, but I'm not sure. And that's,
but no,
it says
definitely should look into that, Bear. I mean, it's definitely that's a lot of people don't even think about that kind of thing.
Well, I need to go get a physical. I need to figure it out, because I've done some runs where I've gone 3, 4, 5 miles, and then I come home and I'm just dead. I'm completely exhausted and have a headache, and I basically just have to lay down and sleep for hours before I feel okay. And I just hate that
too. Do your muscles ache?
Not really. It's just more of a headache and fatigue. So I don't know.
I mean, if you ever had a stress test done?
No.
Put you on the. That's probably what I mean, if you go to your doctor, that's probably what he's going to order. you know.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'll do that once I get.
Yeah, I talked my way out of it a couple of times already. So, but I really should get one.
Yeah, I need to do that. Okay, so Doug has sent me some pictures of his project. I'll take a look at those in a little bit. John says he has 30 feet of galvanized pipe, 2 drain legs, a water separator, regulator, then toilet paper filter, then desiccant snake attached to painting hose. Whew. It sounds like you need a bigger shop just to hold all that stuff.
How old is the galvanized pipe? How old is it? Is it old or pretty new?
Yeah, he doesn't say, but I'd be a little leery of the galvanized pipe myself.
Yeah. Plus, you get contaminants from it.
Tim thinks you and I look alike, but it could be the gray beard and the hat. You know.
My wife said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guido, I'm lost on that comment, but he says almost like a plastic razor blade saves a lot of surfaces. Okay, so I'm not sure what that. 327, it's a pulse oximeter is what he says. So
right, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's worth looking into. And let's see.
They're cheap enough too. It's not like a big investment, you know, it's so
it says all local farmers should stock it. Paid $70 for one in mid-March. It should be cheaper, but prices we all know. Yeah. I was just looking on, and they showed it on Amazon for like $61 for one of those. But it showed it on Walmart for like $25. But again, is it in stock? Is it available? You know, that's the hard part. Let me see what I've got to keep up with some different things here. Yeah. Okay. Oh wow! So 777 just sent me a picture. I wish there was a way. I was looking at this StreamYard, and if you look really close, I know it's hard. You don't have it. You're probably on your phones, but if you look really close, I had tried to put my logo in the background, and if you see between our pictures, you can see the logo. I don't know how that works, but you can see the red and the silver of the logo.
I gotcha.
So. But I don't know how to make that. I don't know how this works to where I can have this, because I think there's a way, because this is the paid service now, right? I have that's why it doesn't have the StreamYard logo in the corner and stuff like that. But I think, as I was looking at this earlier, that there is some way that I can put a picture in here, but I don't know how to do it just yet. Because I've got a background option, an overlay option. Maybe that's what I can do.
Try the overlay.
Let me see. Let me just try a random picture and see if this will work. And I'll try that. See what it does.
Yeah, you got it.
There you go.
All right.
Got
Okay.
it. Looks great.
Okay, now this is not the car that I was sent. This is the 70 Mustang we did at the body shop years ago. This is a 70. It wasn't a true Mach 1. It's a sport roof. But this is the one that I did floor pans, cowl, front fender repair, variety of things.
Didn't you build the bottom of the door on that one like I was going to?
Yes. Yeah, that's the one right there.
Yeah.
So I did the door, and I also did the fender because we put aftermarket fenders on it, and the driver's side was aftermarket.
Yeah.
And the corner fit so bad on the aftermarket that I cut the corner off the original fender and put it in and replaced it. So now that I see that, let me just try something here. I'm gonna see if I can. This will take me a minute because I think what I have to do is save it to my computer first, and then we're gonna try this and see if it works. Hold on a second. So Smitty had sent me a picture. Let me see if I can find it now.
I say you're opening up a whole new world with that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
that'll be
the
really
thing
cool.
is, the free service obviously is free, but if you do it by the month, they want to charge you $25. if you do it by the year, it works out to be $20 a month. But I'm not committed to that yet. So check this out. Here is Smitty, his car that he's got it lifted up on a homemade wooden jig and using his engine hoist to lift it up. So that's interesting. He's got notches. There's notches cut into the block. You can see where it's around the floor supports. So, you know, it looks like it would hang on, but I don't know what he's doing there.
I'd be scared to go underneath that.
What's that?
Oh, I'd be a little scared to go underneath that.
Yeah.
You know,
You're-
in the fire department, we have these things called junkyard dogs that are like a support that you could prop up underneath a car that's, say, on an angle like that at an accident scene. And, and you strap it from the other side and kind of pull the support in tight. You know, a couple safeties like that, maybe. You know, that might be pretty cool. But you need something to back that up before it falls and kills you if you're underneath of it.
Yeah, you really want to. Yeah, because even if like the hydraulic fails, I mean that's going to come down, or the chain can break. There's too many variables for that.
But I like the accessibility. That's really cool.
I mean
it works. We just really have to be careful. Let me go back to my comments here. Joseph, Barry, what's your next video going to be? Are you spraying 2K soon? I will be spraying that soon. I'm not sure if I'm going to film that just yet. I haven't decided. I'm trying to finish up a little bit of body work on the car before I put it on, but I will be spraying 2K. But we'll see how that goes. Brian says, press on your fingernails for a ballpark indication of O2. Well, that may work. I'm guessing you can. I'm not sure how. What you're looking for,
right? I think you're looking for blue when you press on your fingernails if you're oxygen deprived. Is that what it is?
Could be. I don't know. Never tried it. So Smitty is saying he has tabs.
I remember that, but
Smitty's saying tabs are welded to the bottom. He did this to sandblast the bottom. That's what he's doing with that up on the lift, on the hoist. And like you're saying, though, I think I would still kind of have some sort of an A-frame. Secondary.
Something to support that just in case.
From the failure rate. I would still put something under, but maybe it works.
Look up on the internet. Look up junkyard dogs sometime, and you could probably make a version of that would be a really good safety if you're going to use that setup. And it'd probably be just what you need. It's pretty simple. It's like a pole and a strap going to the other side of the car to hold the pole in place. And we use it to support cars that are like, sometimes you get up on an accident scene. There's a car in a ditch, sort of up on an angle like that. You don't want it to come down on you while you're trying to, get a person out of the car. And real quick, in about 5 minutes, or probably more like 3, get that car supported with a couple of the struts up there and strapped into place tight, and then you could pretty much do anything to it, and it'll stay in place.
Okay.
And, my take.
Yeah, I mean, I'd look on eBay. I think get a used rotisserie. I'll just like $500. I mean,
mine was so rusted out. I couldn't have rotisseried if I wanted to, because I had bad rails in the front, bad rails in the back. By the time it was fixed, it'd be kind of redundant,
Yeah.
Yeah. Spend more time trying to get it to work on a rotisserie.
Yeah.
I get that.
Okay, so Joseph is asking a question, and this is a good question. When you do your body work, do you sand down the epoxy, the metal, for the filler to stick? My answer is no. Okay. I had somebody actually ask me about this on the video that I just put up. They had a question about that. And they said they couldn't find anything that gave them that information, whether you should apply filler on top of epoxy or, bare metal. Now, if you look at the Evercoat Rage, it says it right on the can. You can go directly to original paint as long as you sand it and scuff it. You go to original paint, you go to bare metal, and then I actually did a Google search, and if you go to the video, I left a comment on that guy's question, and I should have probably made it I should probably post it as a pinned comment that would show up at the top of the list. But I gave a link to the Evercoat question page, and they specifically say that you can go on top of epoxy directly with the Evercoat products. And it says, it didn't say anything about what brand of epoxy or anything like that. It said specifically you can go on top of epoxy. So I'm not going to sand it down to bare metal. I'm just going to go right on top of epoxy and roll along, keep moving. So that's a good question. I'll give you a bell for that. Good question. But it's on there, and I'll probably go back and pull that link up and repost it as a pinned comment so that people can see that.
Hey, Bear, why don't you do some of those experiment kind of things? You know, just do different things and throw it in your backyard and check it on a year. You know, see what it's like. You know, and then you know, you'd probably get a lot of hits on that. That'd be something pretty cool to know, because you know, it's hard to tell the real truth from what really is going on with all these manufacturers. They're going to tell you, you know,
right.
And under laboratory conditions, you can make anything work. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they always comment. They say it's been in a 1,000-hour salt bath or whatever. Well, okay. What was the actual prep for the metal? Was it perfect metal when you started?
Right.
And it, you know, it's painted with an inch thick of paint.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're, like you're saying, like Harvey was saying, you know, he might consider doing something like that. And he saw a video where somebody had
that's
done
cool.
that as well.
Yeah.
You know, but that's probably worth doing. I know I did an experiment with what's that stuff the guy sells on TV? You know, he sprays it on. It's sealant,
Flex Seal or whatever.
Flex Seal.
Yeah, he makes a screen boat.
Yeah, I did kind of an experiment with that for a little bit on when I had that red Mustang on here that I cut up. I sprayed some of that on the side of the car, and it was on there for several months, exposed, and it didn't seem to change at all. It didn't seem to have any effect on it. So as I looked at that, I thought, well, depending on where you put it on the car, underneath and stuff like that, where it's not exposed to sunlight and stuff like that, Flex Seal may work great. You know, it'll definitely get into cracks and grooves and stuff where you need sealant. So I wouldn't be afraid to use it.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest killer is really UV. I mean, that's really what takes everything out. You know, in fact, they're using UV to kill the virus now. Actually, that's the other thing too, is that's going to be real commonplace now. Is UVC lighting is going to be something that's going to be really popular now for killing viruses and bacteria and germs like that. It's stuff that's been around, but like UV destroys plastic and, you know, all kinds of stuff. And it's basically sunlight. It's the same thing you get in a sunburn with.
I think that's what's it? Pour 15's weak spot is UV, isn't it? UV breaks that down.
Yeah, the original stuff we would break down, and it told you had to top coat it with something, but it's really hard to top coat Pour 15 because it dries so hard.
Yeah,
you know. But I think they sell something you can top coat it with. But anyway,
you guys like the lizard skin coating or whatever, that lizard?
I have some here, but I have not used it yet. When I started with the Brooklyn Pony, the owner had sent me a kit of lizard skin, but I was nowhere near ready for that stuff, and I'm still not ready for it because I need to get brake lines in and, you know, all that stuff figured out and get it right before I put any undercoating stuff on it. So, but I've heard good stuff about lizard skin. But I was going to ask you too, because these fenders, man, that you get, these replacement fenders they're real thin. It's like the guy was telling me that, they put a brand new fender on. The guy drove out of the driveway, a rock kicked it and bent it. Like there was a thing that, you know, like they're so thin, you got to put something on there, I would imagine, right? Yeah. So I got Tyler Stallenwork checking in. I think that's a new name. I have not seen that name. And we have John. Trick to top coating is to do it at slight finger drag or the tie coat primer. So he's talking about Pour 15, and apparently if you're run a finger across it, you can kind of feel like it's still tacky, I guess, and then top coat it from what he's saying, but I've not played with that. Trip is asking, what do you think is the best soundproofing and heat barrier? They make Dynamat. I've heard really good things about Dynamat. There are also knockoff companies to Dynamat. I've heard good things about them. Buy it and roll. And it's like a tar, really. It's like a tar with a foil on it. And you stick it wherever you want it, press it in with a roller or a squeegee or whatever you can do to get it to go into the radiuses and corners. I've seen people put Dynamat on the roof before they put in the headliner. Put it inside the doors. They might add 40 pounds of weight to the car just putting Dynamat everywhere. But it seems to work. So
it's a good way to make a door sound solid. When you put it on the door skins.
Yeah.
I used to build car stereos back in the 90s, and we used to use that stuff all the time. It's basically a high grade tar paper with foil on it. It works great. Had really good.
Yeah. It just adds up. It's not cheap. So
I always thought about trying some maybe just regular roofing, if I get the same kind of material, but it's like pretty close to it, but it's a little bit more rubbery than like the how they use those on flat roofs, they were how they it's similar to that kind of material, but it's just thinner. I wonder if that would work.
So Red Squirrel is asking, would you suggest removing all Rust-Oleum flat paint before applying a high build primer, or would sanding be sufficient? Rust-Oleum? I'd probably remove it. I've never really, I've not used Rust-Oleum like as a top coat, or whatever. I don't know what product you're using. It says flat paint. But I don't know. It depends. There's a lot of variables there because I don't know what's under the Rust-Oleum. I don't know what it's been prepped with. I can't say how good it is. So my default answer is going to say remove it. But that's about all I can tell you because I don't without seeing it, knowing the variables behind it, I can't give you an easy answer on that. Joseph says he likes 415. You need 2 coats of 415. Then you need to rough it and top coat it. 415 says top said 415 sells a top coat for it, and it works great. Lizard skin is awesome too. I would recommend. Okay, cool. And he's saying he would recommend. You really need lizard skin spray gun, and he could recommend doing the ceramic coating and sound coating. Okay. All right. You're just looking for bells, aren't you? I'll give you a bell. Okay. So Joseph is saying the previous owner applied Rust-Oleum over base clear.
Wow.
That sounds really messy. What's under the base clear? How many layers of paint do you have on that car? Because you can only go so much. So I can't say for sure. But I don't know why. I mean, he sprayed the car with Rust-Oleum flat as a finish on top of base clear. Is that what I'm hearing? Because that sounds really odd. I think I would just sand it all off, honestly. Figure out what's under it first.
When I was a kid, about 15, a couple of buddies of mine, we decided to paint a pickup truck. So we wanted it. So we went, to it was like Rickles or one of those hardware stores back then, and bought 2 cases of Chinese red aerosol can. So we spray painted some car with this red, and about a month later, it turned pink.
Yeah, I actually recommend using. I had a '72 Chevy pickup that I had it in primer, and I decided it was supposed to be blue, and I decided I'm just going to paint it blue. I don't care. I mean, this was when I was like 19, something, 20 years old. I just taped off the windows taped off the door handles, and I used rattle cans, and I spray painted this thing, and it looked pretty good for about 3-4 months. And then it just started fading off. You know,
I had the arrow sign on my finger for like about 2 weeks after doing that.
Yeah, Brian's saying that pour 15 after 2 years is not good. Well, I can tell you this: it depends on where it's at, because my Model A that I restored, I put pour 15 inside the doors, inside the quarter panels, all over the inside of that car.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. And that was in 2007. That stuff has not had an issue. So because it's not exposed to UV, it's holding up fantastic. So
Okay.
again,
Can you paint over it?
what's that?
Can you paint over that stuff? I mean, after you, like, you know,
Well,
like if
that's
you were
what
like
I'm
in
saying.
a trunk or like in a trunk area or something like that, where, you know, like,
Well, I think they make some sort of a top coat for it, but I don't know for sure that it hangs on, because pour 15, like I said, it dries super hard, and I don't know for sure if you can even scuff it.
Right.
I've heard once it's there, it's there. You know, just like you don't get it on your hands because it stays. Robert is saying, if you don't know what you're painting over or don't trust it, just strip it all off and start over. Yes.
great advice. Yep.
Yes, because you're just guessing, you know. It's like when I started working on the Jade Mustang, and the car looked really good. If you saw the first video I did in that car, it looked pretty darn good. And as I started digging on it and, you know, finding spots, I was like, wait a minute, this thing has, I think it had 4 paint jobs on it, I think is what it turned out to be. There's pictures I have posted to where the well, you know what? I wonder now. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I have any of those pictures on here.
It looked like rings on a tree stump, didn't it? They could count the
It
years.
did. It was crazy. It had.
Barry, we got to
It
get you an.
had
We got to get you an assistant.
Yeah, I wish. I don't know where those pictures. I don't have them saved on my laptop, but it was. In fact, it was so thick where the for the cowl vents that I don't know. I didn't take a measurement, but I have a tool. I call it a booger hook. It's a snap-on hook. In the airline industry, it's called a booger hook. It's like for pulling out O-rings and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of what you're talking about. Yeah.
But I have a picture, might be on Instagram, to where those cowl vents were. That thing only went in like so far and stuck. And once I stripped all that stuff off, it went all the way in and settled in. That's how thick the paint was on the cowl vent. And I think there's pictures I know I have pictures of it on Instagram. It was terrible. But that's the thing. You don't know what's under it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you're gonna do if you're gonna go through all that work and do all that stuff, man, only to have it all like turn into an alligator, you know, a year from now. I mean, it's just heartbreaking, you know. So
Yeah.
it's really worth taking the time to just strip it all down if you're gonna do it.
Yeah. John says Pour 15 sells tie coat primer to go over Pour 15 rust paint, but you don't need the extra step. You use a chemical bond by top coating it at that slight finger drag. Okay. So before it's cured is what he's saying. You know, you can catch your finger. It feels like it's tacky, I guess. You put on that top coat. So that's good information. Big Kingfish. I live in Chicago and had great success just having Z-barded over the years. There's fewer and fewer franchise locations around here to do that. Yeah. Yeah. There was 2 companies that did that. Z-Bart was one of them. And there was a company called Rusty Jones.
Oh, I remember them. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Rusty Jones. Goodbye, Rusty Car. That was their caption. That was their logo.
Yeah.
I remember that as a kid because it was a little song they sang. Hello, Rusty Jones. And then they said goodbye, Rusty Car.
They just don't need to do it. The cars are like you were saying, one of your previous videos, these cars are dipped and they just don't have those kind of problems like they did when they did years ago. You didn't really need to. I worked at the dealership. It was like, it was like, oh, would you like, they were, and at the time too, they were starting to get it pretty good. And, you'd pay extra for undercoating and rust prevention. You didn't need it.
Right.
You didn't really need it.
Yeah. So, okay, Red Squirrel saying it's factory clear coat, Rust-Oleum only, going back to an automotive paint, hot rod black. Well, I mean, at that point, if you can get the Rust-Oleum off, but how old is the clear coat? What's the condition of it underneath? That's going to be your variables, because even clear coat breaks down over time, especially on the factory stuff. I don't know what kind of vehicle he has or whatever, but like a Honda Civic, they will spray the absolute thinnest layer of clear coat on that car, on the Hondas, and just let it go. And it'll last a good long time, but it's super, super thin. So I can't say, what kind of car it is and that sort of thing. Let's see. Joseph, I sent you pictures via email if you want to show them. Okay. Let me look at that in a second. Here's a question, I think. Hello, all. I have rust on the front frame rail. Do you have a rule of thumb when to repair it or when to replace it? Well, that's an open question because it depends on where the rust is and how far back it is, and because they make those sections, where you can repair the forward section ahead of the shock tower, which I've done videos on that years ago. So I'm not afraid to fix it, but it depends on how far it is. Without seeing it, I can't really give you a super good advice on it. We have Footage Factory showing up. He was on the live stream last week. I want to say Steve. Am I right? Maybe I'm right. He has to let me know. Trip is going to bed. He's had enough. Okay. Picture proof why you want to strip it and paint it. Start over Bondo. Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up. Oh. All right. Hold on a second. Smitty sent me another picture. Oh boy. We'll just I wish there was an easier way to beyond just saving the picture. If there was a way I could copy it and paste it to the StreamYard. But I'm learning. I don't know. Let me see if I can get that. Okay. So here is Smitty's other picture. I don't know how clear that is. That's a surprise he found underneath the car, I guess.
What the heck is that?
It looks like about an inch of Bondo.
Wow. Didn't you post a pickup truck that looked like that?
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's a sculptor. Yeah. Man, that's not surprising.
Wow.
Let me go back here.
I got one better than that though. On that white Mustang I sent you, Bear. The guy used at the passenger side rear A-spring support. He used part of a book, like a metal shelf, to support it. Like pieces of actual metal shelf to support it back there.
Wow.
It was, but if you looked at it, really quick, you couldn't really tell unless you started, you start tapping on it and it's like, hey, this sounds hollow. This does not sound like it's supposed to. And then, you start peeling stuff back and it's like the stuff you find is incredible with all the undercoating that they do. It's just like, I was cursing this guy out for about a week, just scraping all that stuff off and kept finding more and more of it.
I'm going to try to let me see if I can do this. And this is I know this is kind of tedious because I'm trying to share stuff but I have to download it first. So Joseph had sent me this picture. This is of the door that he is reskinning.
Huh.
So like he said, once he was get it opened up, he could get it all treated and cleaned up and get rust preventive in there and everything.
Nice.
And that's really, I like that.
Coming out
It
nice.
looks like a new factory door inside. That's beautiful.
It's better than a factory door.
Yeah.
It's better.
real.
Factory would have surface rust everywhere.
Yeah.
And let me see if one other. He sent me several pictures. I'll pull this one down. Let me see if I can save this one too.
I think we need to review how the door skin went when he's done, so we know about that.
They're hard.
Well,
yeah, I wouldn't even attempt one of those. Those things are hard doing that. Try to get
see
that
if I
lined
can-
up right.
Give me a second here. Here we go. I have to probably with everything having everything going on right now. With the live stream and then downloading and all that junk, it takes it a second. So I'm going to get this one, and this is.
I'm in Jersey. I'm not going nowhere.
There's two of us.
So here we go. We have 60 people watching though, so not just us. We got 60 people watching. All right.
Looking good.
Go. Did it pop up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks real good.
Okay, because I don't see it on my screen. There it goes.
Looks good.
So it looks like he's got that door pretty nice. That looks great.
Bell. Give him a bell.
Oh yeah. Get 2 bells for Joseph because sharing these pictures with us. And this is nice. Maybe I should consider buying, doing the yearly thing on this StreamYard. I don't know. I think there's a way as well. I don't know that. I think there's a way that I can actually have like a video running up in a corner somewhere. So if we had we could talk about a video or something going on. I don't know. I have to figure this out more.
Can you get like a free sample to try it? Before you commit to it.
Well, it tells you in the listing what options you have, but there's like no real instruction. There's a thing on the right that there's like banners that I could put up. I can make my own banners, which I think comes with this regular service. There's the branding thing, which wait a minute. Let me see if I can. Let me just try it. See what happens. Like you said, you're not going anywhere.
No.
Let's see what this does. This is the logo. So I can put I got the logo.
Hey, you got it. It's up on mine.
So, but I probably need to have a instead of it being blacked out like that, I think I have another variation of it that I can put up where it's like just the red part. So I'll pull that off of there for now. I don't need it.
I think you're beginning to speak fluent StreamYard there, Barry. You're doing pretty good.
Well, I'm getting there, but it's still not where I need to be.
Yeah.
So let me see. We're going to back up here. I've got some comments. Footage Factory. Steve-O, I got it right. I get a bell for remembering Steve for Footage Factory. Okay, so it's a 2005 Dodge Ram 2500 Cummins diesel. Okay.
Cool truck.
Well, you can give it a shot and let us know how it works, because I can't say it's going to be come out exactly like you want, but if it's the factory paint and clear, I would at least get down past the clear coat. But I can't really.
Tough call, man.
Yeah, it's a tough call.
Different builds require kind of different levels sometimes. Like sometimes a pickup can be kind of a work truck that's kind of cool, but you know, if you're still going to be throwing plywood and stuff in the back of it or using it for a truck or maybe even taking it off road, it doesn't have to always be factory fresh. You know, like it could be some version of one color and pretty straight, you know?
Yeah. Steve he says he wanted the video in and ask about flaring fenders, but I'll wait till next time. Another question: how do you fill the 9-inch axle with fluid? It looks like the fill hole is really low. Well, there's a fill hole. It's probably about mid height on the housing, whether it's in the front or the back. And basically, you know, whatever, depends on your material, but let's just say you put in 90 weight, just as an example, if you have a regular differential. I use those little squeeze bottles, squeeze it all in, and you want to get enough fluid up to where it starts to actually run out of that hole, and then you put the plug in. But
big syringe.
But you could use a syringe. You could, you know, there's a variety of things. But that's typically how you fill it, is just one of those bottles. But it should be the plug should probably be about mid height, maybe not quite halfway up, somewhere in that range of the center line of the differential, because you don't want it. You're not going to want fluid in the tubes. Remember, it's only going to be fluid in the lower half of the cavity, and the gears turning is what slings that oil around. So
and that stuff really expands when it gets hot.
Yeah. So anyway, Robert is saying man-made sandstone. I'm not sure what you're asking. What your comment is, Robert? We might be out of sequence on this. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So he's talking. He's saying the man-made, the Bondo, the big thick block of Bondo. Ted saying looks structural. I think Leonard, are you checking out on us? I've had enough for tonight. Yeah, Matt, Barry, and the Jersey Boys. Yeah. Robert, I've been thinking again about trying to reskin my 66 passenger door. Give it a shot. Let us know what happens. Okay, so let me go back here. He says he sent me an email. Oh, there it is. Oh, let's see. I don't know if I could pull this up. Yeah, that looks like the right hole. Let me see if I can save this real quick, and we'll get it up on the screen hopefully. But yeah, that's the hole. Oh, boys, it's going to take forever. Everything going on is wanting to run slow. But we'll get it up here in just a minute. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. 777. I would recommend the skin, but my goal is 100% rust free. Okay. Yeah. He recommends the skin. Yeah. Let's see, Joseph. Yeah, those pictures I sent where when I put 415 on the other carriage and top coated with 415 top coat when I sprayed the lizard skin and finished the skin yesterday. Cool. Good. Get another bell for that. Man, that thing is taking forever to download. He must have sent me a really high quality picture. Joseph says he had to buy a door skin hammer. I'm not been able to do it without that hammer. Yeah, I've shown that hammer in previous videos. A little hammer dolly kit that I have. It's really nice. And Leonard, see y'all next week. Okay, have a good night. And nobody is back. Man, I still got 15 seconds left to download that picture. How big a file did he send me?
You're sending a movie?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me just. It's a really clear picture though. A little dark. I don't know if I can brighten that up. I'm not sure if that's man, no.
Actually, I got a rocker question for you. on those
A
Dynacorn
rocker?
rockers. Yeah, on those rockers, when you replace them,
Yeah.
they're not the same support like the factory ones. They kind of, you know how like they kind of go past it and there's like extra metal support like right under the door hinge.
Hold on just a second. Say that again.
So on the rockers, when you're replacing them, the
Yeah.
the outer rockers, right?
Yes.
There's no, the factory one seems like it's supported better. Like it seems like it goes back about 4 inches of extra metal. So it's kind of like a channel. Like it's like 2 channels. Like, so here's the rocker, and there's a piece of metal that gets there and it's welded.
Oh, I
And
know
when
what
you-
you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but when you get the new one, it's not there. It's like it just goes back up to where it butts up and that's it. You know, and I'm thinking that's probably to support for the hinge because the door's all that weight there. Do you guys think maybe we should put extra support there, or you think that'd be fine the way it is? Have you? I mean, you replaced those, right? So how'd you make out with?
Well, I put new rockers on the Brooklyn Pony. I welded directly to the inner rocker structure that came with that floor pan.
Right.
But it was a full. I mean, it was a full assembly, so I'm kind of
So
confused.
it wasn't. Yeah, it didn't. So you didn't see it like it wasn't. You didn't have it apart. It was one solid piece when you got it.
Yeah, it's one solid piece from front to rear. So you're
All right,
talking about the original, I think, had like an overlap
Yes. Yeah. The overlap. Yeah.
at the front.
Yeah. Because when you get the Dynacore one, it doesn't have that.
Well, see, those are Dynacorn, though. The ones I put in the Brooklyn Pony are Dynacorn.
But did they have an
All that
overlap?
stuff. No, it has a. It's all one piece from the front flange all the way back. You know, because it has that front 90-degree flange, and then that rocker goes against the inner, and then the front flange welded in as well. Let me look at it a second. I got it up here.
So I had the inners off of my coupe. You have a coupe, right?
Yeah, 2 of them.
Yeah. So I had when I had the inners off, I think mine did overlap. You know, it's funny, the outsides, I guess the strength is because it's a box. The inner rocker is a lot thicker, especially the Dynacorn inner rocker.
Yeah, it's
It's
pretty
a lot
thick. Yeah.
thicker than the factory one was. Like my factory one was, I'm not going to measure it, but I'm going to say it's another third thicker than what the original one was, the metal. But I think the most of the strength, I think, on that rocker is probably the inner. And the outer, if it's boxed and solid, is probably good enough. I hate to say that, but it probably is. So is there a seam that you can't see that's behind the fender when that rocker's installed?
Well, see, I just took a look at mine at the Brooklyn Pony,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually is 2 pieces.
Yeah.
It has the front section that kind of scoops forward and turns up
Right,
underneath the fender,
Right. So
and then the main rocker overlaps that piece. But those 2 pieces came welded together.
right. So like if you took that apart, that front piece on the factory one, it goes back 4 inches. So like
Okay.
on the replacement on the Dynacore, it only goes back up to, it only goes right where it starts to bend back. It stops. It doesn't go another 4 inches. So it doesn't have that
Okay.
extra support. So
Okay.
I'm thinking what Harry's saying makes sense. If the inner is a lot thicker, it'd probably make up the difference for it. But I don't know. It's kind of scary because after you put it together, it's like, man, you know, do you really need that or not? Because it's a lot of weight on that door hinge.
So I guess there's some big spot welds holding those 2 pieces together, you know, where they overlap.
Yeah, there has to be.
Yeah.
So, you know, if it's not visible, maybe and then you're worried about it, maybe you could put a like a little bead weld in between the spots on the outside. I don't know if I want to say welded solid or not, but you know, a bead weld in between each spot going around it just to beef it up a little bit.
I was thinking of maybe putting some channel sheet metal underneath there just to kind of replace what was there originally.
Mhm.
You know, I don't think it could hurt. You know, adding to metal isn't going to hurt it, right? You know, just
Probably not, as long as you
Right.
can rust treat it, make sure you don't have like, you know, bare welds exposed in there. But if you do it before it goes together, you'd probably have a pretty good chance of being able to, you know, get it primed and sealed up good too.
oh yeah. No, I could do that. Yeah.
There's Steve's picture of the rear end, and yes, that is the fill plug.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. Because you can see it's below the tube, slightly below the tube. of the axle housing.
That's it.
That's it. Got to be it. It's the only place you would have it.
That's a 9-incher, right?
Yeah.
I never thought about that. I'm going to take a look at my 8-inch and see if the plug on that is right below the tube also.
Well, you know what? Just go ahead and talk about something real quick. I'm going to look at the Brooklyn Tony again.
There you go. So I know when I put my rockers together and stuff, I threw a few extra welds in places where the factory didn't have it welded up. I don't know if the secret's to just weld everything solid from front to back, but there were some places where I thought a little extra strength would probably be in order, you know?
I mean, yeah, we did like I was a race car mechanic when I was younger, and what they used to do was they would strip a car and like put it on a rotisserie, and then they would just go with the TIG, and they would just weld every single seam. I mean, they would just weld everything, and then they would put a cage in it, and then they would weld the cage in. And the reason why they did that was just to stiffen the car up. But but the thing is, like, do you really want to, like, the question is, like, do you really want to do that? Because if this stuff is kind of engineered to give,
flex a little,
you know, you need that the energy absorption so that you're not getting wasted. I mean, not that these cars are real safe, but
sometimes the flexes are cracked too, so you want to you don't want to make it so rigid that it can't bend a little bit on an uneven surface.
Right, you won't have any energy absorption, so that you feel it takes away from the impact.
Yeah.
So Robert is threatening to come out here and help put in a Cat 5 to my shop so I can get rid of this wireless.
You want Cat 6?
Robert,
tell me.
You're welcome to come on out. I don't know anything about how to hook that up, so you're more than welcome to come out, and I'll even buy some pizza. All right.
So there you can get an intern there.
Yeah. Rick Bow says hello. So hello to Rick Bow's Rides. Glad he's here. Yeah, there's Robert is commenting the outer rocker extension is much shorter on the replacement than the factory. So you're correct. He says he replaced the driver's rocker extension and a new one is much shorter. So he has firsthand knowledge of that. So he's done it.
Love this channel. Thanks. Thanks, Robert.
So Dave is turning in. He's had enough. And all right. So Red Squirrel, you're welcome. Hopefully that helps. So Footage Factory, Steve, I resent you a lower quality pick. I want to run a wide kicked out tire. Any tips you have for welding the flare? Yeah, I managed to get your picture up there, so we were all good with that. But any tips you have to welding the flare? Take your time. That's all I could say. Take your time, stitch weld it, and take your time doing it. I saw a video or a picture series of somebody putting a flare on a Mustang like that. And they did it in sections. I forget, they took like an original flare or a quarter. I forget how the sequence was. I think they took quarter pieces from like a late model Mustang and pieced them together and made it come out because they have a bigger kick out. These old Mustangs have a little tiny curve, but the newer Mustangs have a much longer, curve on them. And I think they took sections to make that. But regardless, you gotta take your time and make sure it looks right.
I mean, are you trying to just put a bigger tire in it?
Yeah, he's wanting to run some big fat tires underneath that car.
I mean, generally, you can, they've got those kits that, for the inner wheel housing. You can get like another 2 to 4 inches. I mean, I'm kind of doing that on the white car. I'm adding like an extra 2 inches.
Okay. Let's see. Nobody. Cat 6E no longer than 100 meters or 300 feet. I don't know. All I can tell you is I have Comcast. I have the service coming in at the front of the house.
How far is it?
I don't know how far.
Yeah, how far is it?
Actually, from that location where it comes in, you'd have to go all the way around the house, and it might be a couple hundred feet to totally go like around the house and come to the garage. So I don't know how to, you know, I guess I could figure it out, but I really haven't looked into it very much. Otherwise, I have a router extender or whatever, which is only from here to my house is only about 40 feet. So, but yeah, I should go ahead and get a cable out here, but how do I do that? So I go from I got to bring it from somewhere, you know, come back out of the house and come around the house. I don't know. But if Robert wants to come out, he can do it. Be happy to have him do it. I'll even pick you up at the airport.
I go down, but I go down and do it for you, Barry, but I'm on lockdown, so I can't leave.
Yeah, network cable. I guess I should look into it. I don't know. I don't know who sells that stuff. Where do I buy it? Do I go to Lowe's or something?
I can get it on
where do I buy
Amazon.
the stuff? I don't know. I'm not that guy. You know, I'll do body work and welding but running.
It's pretty much like running a phone line. The only thing is, it's just a bigger connection. It's, you know, that's all it is. It's a J45, I think, or something. But it's not that hard.
I'm sure it's not hard. I just never done it. You know, it's just not my thing. So you want to get 2 inches. Okay, he'll send a pic. Yeah, we'll have to worry about that later. Goodmunder. Use a 12 gauge 25-foot heavy duty extension cord for your home 110 watt or 2 inch voltage drop and cheap thin ones. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll give you a bell for that. Heavy duty. Let's see, Big King. Hardwired connections are always better than wireless. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that, but I've never, I don't know. Okay, so I'd have to run it. Got to run it from your router to a router in the shop. See, now I got to get another router. I don't even. This is a foreign language to me. I don't. You're lucky I know how to run the laptop. You know. So Joseph is saying yes. Lowe's and Home Depot sell rolls of Cat 5 and Cat 6. You'll need a crimp tool and Ethernet ends.
Yep.
Okay. So since we're on that topic, you know, my laptop has an Ethernet connection. If I run a cable out here, do I need another router, or do I just run that cable all the way out and plug the Ethernet in?
Yeah, you could probably do that, I think.
I mean, I don't know. Why would I need another router? Was it? I don't know.
Well, do you have an empty spot at your network over there? Is there a place you can plug it in?
Well, on the router, it actually has a cable already coming out of it. It's like I could take this laptop and plug it in my home office. It has a Ethernet cable right there, but of course it's not long enough to come all the way out here. So maybe somebody could just send me an email. Tell me what I need. Send me pictures and drawings, you know, make a little sketch, point stuff, you know. That's just not my thing. I'm not that guy. Just plug the cable. Okay, so Joseph is saying, what is this? 8-port switch. Now, see, I don't know what that is. I have no idea.
It's like a router.
Okay, I have no idea. From your router in your house to your computer. Send me an email. Give me a list of what I need, and I'll do it. But I don't know. I'm just dumb at that. Let's see. Your router has some spaces left. Plug it into your router. Run your cable. Put switch in garage and plug computer in switch. Yeah. Hey, send me an email. Yeah, run a trencher and cut screw. I know how to do it. I know how I can run a trencher. That's not the problem. It's figuring out what kind of cable I need to use. That's
What do you throw in the trench?
What's that?
It's what do you throw in the trench once you have it dug, right?
Yeah, I can make a trench. I can do that. Can't be too hard. His son does it all the time. Okay. Footage Factor. I'll send you an email how I wired my Xbox to stream high quality. Huh. I don't have an Xbox.
Same technology applies probably.
I have a PS4, I have a PS3. You know,
You can get one of these, Bear. This network. This one is set up for. There's G5 and G 2.5 G gigahertz. So this actually streams a little bit faster. But the trouble is, when you're on the G5 part of it, can you see that?
Yeah.
You can go with one of these. This is kind of like for games, but it runs a lot faster on the Wi-Fi.
Okay. Well, apparently I need to have a cable running out here to the shop. So
Cable's always better.
I'm not against it at all. I just it's all foreign to me, you know. If you want me to rebuild your car, I can do that. I'm good with that. But when it gets technical stuff like this, I mean, I can read it. I can read a schematic. I can do all that stuff. I'm not familiar with it. So, okay. So, Big Fish is saying my present connection is fine. I mean, I understand it would be nice to have the cable to make it faster. I do. Okay, so Footies Factory sent me an email. Okay. Well, this is going pretty well. Got 52 people still watching, which is nice. I don't know how many have watched from the beginning. I will point this out. If you're watching, go ahead and throw a thumbs up on the video, please. You know, that helps with the YouTube algorithm or whatever. Lets them know that people are watching it and they like it. So that would be nice. You know, things are. I'm getting very close, and I know I'm getting close to ending this one because we're almost at 3 hours. But the channel is currently over 39,000 subscribers, which is awesome. Probably around 39.2, I would guess right now. So it'll soon be at 40,000. And, you know, I did a giveaway at 30,000, I believe. I think it was 30,000. Anyway, I still have this sitting here. You know, I have this flag, right, that I gave away as like the top prize, whatever giveaway. And the guy who won it never responded to me. I sent him an email. I let him get notifications on his YouTube comment, all that stuff. He never responded. So maybe that's going to be my next, my 40,000 is I'll give away the flag again because I don't know what else to do.
Why don't you keep a score? Whoever gets the most bells within a month gets it, or something like that.
Do what now?
Whoever gets the most bells in 1 month gets it.
Yeah. Well, somebody has to keep track of that. I'm not doing it. Okay, so all right, Big Kingfish, thank you for being a regular subscriber. I appreciate that. Okay, so he sent me the link for the Footies Factory. Steve sent me the links. So good. Rick Stevenson, thumbs up. Cool. This has been fun. You know, it's nice having Harvey on, nice having Jorge on, and I'm going to be, you know, getting you that hat in the mail soon. Cool. You know, I picked up the letter today at the post office. So that'll be the flag. Well, it's a miniature it's a flag. It's a regular flag of my Joe Daddy's Garage logo. So I'll pull it out and show you since everybody's here. But this is what I was giving this away. You know, it's
Cool prize.
It's a big flag. You know, it's a regular size flag. But like I said, the guy, I sent him messages. I emailed him several times, or tried to email him. Basically, the way it worked was I left comments on the giveaway video that I did, and also on the prize drawing video. And the guy, I said, send me an email, and I will, you know, get your address and send this. But he never responded, so too late now. That was months ago. So that'll be the big giveaway for the 40,000 when I hit 40,000, which is just amazing to even think of. That there's 40,000 people interested in stuff that I'm putting on YouTube. But I know there's people with 1 million subscribers, which I was like, wow, that would be fantastic. It was funny. Stein has been on here before. He was on the live stream before, and he sent me an email or something, and he said, what are you going to do for 40,000 subscribers? And I said, I'm going to have everybody send me $1. If I could just have all my subscribers send me $1, I'd be happy.
That's great.
But no, it's all good. I'm not worried about that. So Tom Scott says, change it to Yo Daddy Workshop. Let's see what all us older gearheads are into. It's the same thing with the younger generation, except they are tweaking computer systems around. Yeah. Yep. Tom Scott, I do brake jobs and paint and repair my driveway. Well, wait. Yeah, that was a decent bell. Central Florida. Yeah. I tend to do a lot of brake jobs for people. That's another thing. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Steve says, click the ads.
Hey, before I forget, so how do you do the thing with Amazon so that you're getting credit for that? Like, how do you?
Well, basically, and if you look at either on my videos in the description on the bottom, I'll say my Amazon page, and it'll give you a link to my Amazon page or pages. I have several pages of products that I endorse or advertise for. And if you go onto that through that, or up in the top of my YouTube page, the banner in the lower right corner, as you're looking at it, has my Patreon, an Amazon link, and my Instagram link. So if you go to that and you click on the Amazon link, it'll take you to my Amazon page. Now, what happens is if you order something from Amazon, even if I don't have it listed, if you go to my page and say you're looking for body putty or whatever, and you find it and you click on it, fine. If you go through that and you start off on my page, but there's nothing there that you want, but you still want to buy something like toilet paper, and you go to search toilet paper and you find it and you click on it, anything you click on gives me a credit. It gives me a percentage. So as long as you go through my page, that's how I get credit for purchases. So
where? Yeah, all right. No, I get that, but where do you click on? Where's that link to get into the Amazon?
okay, are you on my homepage, my YouTube page?
Yeah, let me get to the homepage. Yeah.
If you go to the main screen on my YouTube, where it has a banner up on top that has pictures of me and says
okay. Oh,
over on the right hand side.
Okay, I see it. I got it.
There's an Amazon, a Patreon, and an Instagram. So if you click on the Amazon,
oh, cool,
it takes you to my Amazon page. And then if you look, I've got products listed. I've got like body parts. I've got a section for cameras. I've got a section for products that I use frequently, which is like body fillers and stuff like that. I have one for wiring. A couple other things on there, but like if you click on something on that screen, it'll take you to that product or whatever. And then as long as you're on my page and you start searching for other things, those items count. They go into my inventory of stuff that people have bought. So
anyway. Cool. This is awesome.
Yeah. So there's plenty of stuff on there.
I gotta go shopping.
Well, see, and that's just it. Here's the thing. If you do that,
I'm looking for this stuff.
It doesn't affect what you pay either. That doesn't change the price of what you pay. It's just basically Amazon, because I brought you to the page, Amazon gives me a little reward for doing that. That's how it works.
Now, so, if I buy like an air conditioner or something through here, like, do you get credit for that too?
Yep.
Oh man, you're
Anything,
gonna make out.
well, anything
always-
you buy that is through the Amazon link, like if you're on my page right now and then you decide, hey, I want to, search for something else, then it tags it on. What's interesting, you mentioned air conditioner. I had somebody purchase, I don't know what they bought. It doesn't tell me what they bought, but they bought 2 items that totaled almost $3,000. And I can only assume it was the mini split air conditioners. They bought 2 of them. Now, the percentage I get off of that is not much. It's not like hundreds of dollars, but every little thing counts. So that's the beauty of it. Anyway.
So if I buy like $1,000 worth of stuff through Amazon, like you'll get credit towards it.
Yeah, I get a percentage.
Barry would probably send you a bell.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the way it works.
So we get 20 people to do that, or 40 or 10,000 people to do that. Oh man.
Yeah.
Then you definitely get a beer assistant.
What's that?
Then you can definitely get a beer assistant.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But anyway, that's how it works. You start with the Amazon link, and then just migrate into whatever, and it's a referral. Yeah, that's what.
So I'm in there now, and if I go to my favorites, and if I just pick one of my favorites, you'll get credit for it.
Anything you order. If you look here, in fact, if you were to go to, let's say you went to your shopping cart, and you threw a bunch of stuff in the shopping cart and just left it sit there, right? And then you went back and you clicked on my page and opened up my Amazon page. And then you went to your shopping cart and hit order. Then it gives me a credit.
Oh,
it gives
cool.
me a percentage.
All right, that's cake. I can do that.
Because like Robert says right here, it says it's a referral link. It does expire after a certain amount of time. Just make sure you go through it every time you make a purchase. So that's how it works.
Very cool.
I appreciate everybody doing that. Yeah, Big Kingfish. There's a YouTube channel, Car Builder, I subscribe to, and they have 2 million subscribers. You need to kind of dissect their formula for success. I don't know what the heck it is, man, because I get everybody that tells me that my videos are like the most informative or most detailed or most whatever realistic, and I'm like, what is different than these jokers that are doing half-witted stuff and they're getting all these subscribers? I don't get that.
I don't know. I tell you the truth, I don't like that. I like the way you have your format, because it's like no stupid drama, no guys yelling at each other. It's like, hey, real good, detailed, real life information, and and you're just down to earth, like Harbor Freight tools. They're not the best tools, but for getting the job done, you're instead of spending like $500 on a Snap-on thing, you can get for $100, you get the job done. It's not like you're gonna do it. It just makes total sense. It's I don't I watch those videos too, because I'm all over trying to get info too, but it's like I end up fast forwarding through all the nonsense just to try to get what I need to do. If I really want TVs stuff, I'll watch TV crap. I don't really for info. Yeah. So
if you want to read good how-to, you want to see Barry.
Yeah, it's maybe there. I don't. Maybe it's the it's like that. There's not too many guys taking these kind of projects on. They're just not.
I don't know.
They're not.
It seems like there are though. Harvey, Joseph wants to know if Jared is up to. Has he joined the Millennial Mustang Registry yet? He gets a free sticker.
About that. I think he was looking into it. I don't know for sure. I'll have to ask him.
There's a Millennial Registry?
Yeah, there is.
Really?
Actually, young guys are into cool cars.
Cool.
Yeah. Robert says most people want mindless stuff to watch. I prefer no drama and usable information. Well, that's the way I am. I can't. I've seen people do some, just like try to do the drama, yelling at each other and all that junk. It's like, what? No.
Yeah, I'm here. Orange County choppers.
Yeah, exactly.
like yeah. It's
okay. I'm gonna call it quits. We're at 3 hours and 5 minutes. I need to get in the house and see if I have a beer assistant in the house and go from there. But Jorge, I'm going to sign you off. It was nice having you here. Maybe we'll do it
Oh,
again
thanks for letting me
sometime.
on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So have a good night. We'll see you.
Good night, guys.
Barry, thanks for everything tonight. It was great to see you again.
Yep.
Talk to
Glad
you.
you're here, Harvey.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Any
All right,
information you
take care.
share is always awesome.
All right.
So we'll
Take
see.
care.
Okay. And that's going to be it. So let me see what I've got. A couple little comments here. Tom Scott, good sight, fellas. Got to go to bed. Yes. Jeff, this channel is great because it's the next best thing to being in the shop learning with someone. Okay. I'll give you a bell for that. When you on next? I will be doing another broadcast Wednesday at 3 p.m. So if you want to get on, that's your time. Yep. Good night, all. Thank you, Roger. Thanks to Jorge and Harvey. That's great. Glad you were here. And Smitty, had fun. Awesome. So that's going to be it. Next broadcast, Wednesday, 3 p.m. And typically I try to cover the European people, let them get on. And it's been awesome. And we're looking, still got a few things coming through, but I'm going to call it a night. And we'll see you next time. So until that time, take care of yourselves. See you.